Now I want to hop back over here to the news tab, because this news tab is really great if you just want to see immediately what types of news are causing that stock to move. Sometimes you'll even get a blue box here at the top saying, why is it moving? And
smoking guns, hot to the touch, would cool down if we didn't use them so much. We're so alone, and so really matters to me. You're out of touch, I'm out of time, running out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch, I'm out of time, running out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch, I'm out of time, running out of my head when you're not around. You're out of touch, I'm out of time, running out of my head when you're not around.
If you want to sell online, make sure you stand out. Go to Wix e-commerce and create a professional online store that will grab shoppers' attention. Build a
North American stock futures pretty quiet here ahead of more inflation data out this morning. We're just waiting on the producer price index reading for December. If you remember yesterday, the CPI reading out hotter than expected. Well, in line overall, but still 7% to the upside. So we're waiting for this number right here. PPI final demand year over year for December expected 9.8. You can see the month over month number there, 0.2 versus 0.4. So a little better than expected. Up here, we got the jobless claims numbers as well. Weekly jobless claims, 230,000 versus 200,000 expected there. So we'll update you on that one when it pops in. But so far, guys, just the month over month number, 0.2 versus 0.4 to start things off so far this morning. Coming off a bit of a choppy session yesterday, if you remember, off that CPI number. We did have a nice bounce back overall for stocks across the board, with some of the tech stocks leading the way back to the upside yesterday. We'll have a look at a few names this morning in the tech group, including some of the EV makers looking a little strong here. NIO with a fresh upgrade today, back in positive territory. Delta, though, out with earnings early this morning, better than expected right across the board. So all of the airlines showing some strength so far. Boeing, another pop to the upside here. Bloomberg reporting that the 737 MAX could get back in action in China as soon as this month. It's Thursday, January 13th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, so there it is, 9.7 versus 9.8 on the year-over-year number. So a little better than expected on the producer price side of things for inflation. On the December reading, again, 9.7 versus 9.8. That's a look at flat market overall. As I said, we were pretty quiet heading into this number. So we'll check out how things fare from this point on. But overall, a little better than expected as far as inflation is concerned. Red numbers bottom of the board there for the cryptocurrency markets and crude oil once again this morning. But decent start here overall, guys. Again, yesterday we had 7%, which was in line on the CPI. PPI a little bit better than expected.
Yeah, a good start so far. It was almost exactly flat in the markets, and then we just bumped 0.25% here on the NASDAQ. So a pretty decent start overall to the day. Hey, you get a bump up at 8:30, you're going to like it, so welcome. It's Thursday. It's always a lot of fun because the markets are moving and there's lots of opportunity. But we get an IPO today. TPG on the NASDAQ will be able to hopefully, at some point, one of the three shows will be able to trade it, whether it's here, whether it's midday with Trader Pratt, or there's no way it opens up for the close show at 2 o'clock, but it'll be open before then. But it should be an interesting one. Going to be watching a lot that is on the move. Love the numbers from TSM. That should help the chip makers. I saw AMAT going up with them as well. We're going to watch a little Boeing, which I prefer to Delta probably, but and Virgin Galactic back in the news. Weird barcoding happening at 95, but that's 10% down from where it was yesterday. Weird orders sitting on the offer there. It's Iceberg. It looks like they're trying to hold it down there.
Guys, welcome back. Yeah, it's going to be I'm trying to say it's a wicked Wednesday yesterday, so what could Thursday be? But we'll see there. We're already going to go 1 for 1 here, fire off the sausages already. A nice little win here on Nikola, coming through 11.20 right there. So in 11 break, out 11.18. We'll see if Nikola can continue to go on news today. So again, that name is one of the ones that's on the sticky note. Make sure you get our watch list. We're going to go over our watch list on TraderTV.live, and then you can also come over, grab the sticky note. Here's Nikola right here, 11 long, right? So there it is. We take that break and we're in it. We have Delta. We love Taiwan Semi today. TSM. We didn't cover it enough yesterday, unfortunately, as we tend to trade the NVIDIAs, Intels, AMDs of the world, but TSM definitely one that's hot fire today. It's on New York, of course. And nicely up to 140. We wrote down here that we were looking for support near 135. Obviously, that PPI number comes out, spikes things a little bit here, getting back up. But you have that 132, a lot of air in the middle, but we'll see if we can get some longs back in if they want to hit this thing early. We'll check out the imbalance locator. There's nothing on it right now. It's only 8:35. Market's open in 55 minutes. Let's go.
Going to be interesting for Virgin Galactic, also Virgin Orbit, guys, in the news this morning as well. Not doing anything in the pre-market here, but VORB, they're set to make their first trip to space today. Delivery on the way, or not on the way, but should be today. So we'll keep that in mind. Miss V should, we're hoping, fingers crossed, Miss V, going to be back in studio tomorrow. Gave me an update this morning, said she's feeling much better and can't wait to get back in the chair tomorrow. So we are happy to hear that and awaiting the arrival of Miss V. Let's get into a few things to know as we head towards the open here. If you're just joining us a little bit late, here's some numbers to throw at you. 9.7% versus 9.8. That was the final December year-over-year producer price index reading. 230,000 versus 200,000 on the initial jobless claims for last week. So they're focused on the inflation, it would appear, because the market is positive here and trying to go higher, which should be good. Yeah, $120,000 in incentives, guys, for people buying that Nikola truck over in California after that ruling.
I mean, Nikola's been having some good reports lately, and it's kind of funny because they've caught a couple new deals there with a couple of hundred trucks. I know they haven't delivered that many, but Nikola's starting to make some waves here, and that's good news from California there. What was it, licensing or approving one of their vehicles or their ideas there for space. So a good little lift there for California, a good little lift here for Nikola, and we took it on the break. It's already up 7%. It might be a little bit too high here for Nikola, but again, we've seen, what I'm really excited about and looking forward is to something like this, where we can spike instantly and maybe we get a little bit of a pop here. We're noticing that last high back on the 5th was 1150, so That's why we scalped out of a third there on a quick break. Obviously, it's great into here. I mean, I like when we have these kind of clear breakouts like this. It would have been nicer to get it in and around 1070, 1080, some of this cluster there. So that's kind of where we'll play it back to. I said obviously there's support down here at 10. I mean, that's kind of clear as day. But the good thing about Nikola is, and if we actually probably looks better on a day chart, we talked about this. I've been long this one. It's been on the sticky note a lot lately, and we were long this thing back down at 9, and it's just, there's a lot of support down here. I mean, support is only good until it's broken, right? But it's tested it a bunch of times. We're well off. We're taking out the 50-period moving average. And again, I'm not in Nikola, and I don't, I've only talked about a few EV names that I do like, but again, you got to play the momentum, and here it is, breaking higher right now. So, I mean, there goes Nikola. Yes, sir. A nice one for us today. So hopefully today, not only if you're in now, but maybe there can be an opportunity to make some off of this. I wait for a fade now. I mean, I don't know if I want to take longs at this point. It's already kind of breaking out. I feel like there's a lot of people that are in this already. It could start to ramp up. If you want to take a small piece now, you can. But again, it was just 6.5%. Now it's 7.5%. So how high can Nikola go? I think 1150. That's where I'm sitting at my next piece. So if we can get that to run up there, we'll do that. And then, like I said, support back and around here, 1060, 1070, something like that. And then if it dips all the way down, which I don't see why this would reverse course, but $10 looks pretty juicy to me, especially if you get that in a long-term account.
Yeah, I see this double top at 12, and it's like, if it ever gets to that price, I think it's going to be an interesting fade. If it does the inevitable, a lot of times you'll see breakouts in the pre-market, especially in the EV space, get pullbacks. What you want to try to hold probably back in 1080, 1075, 1080. That doesn't hold. Could be a bit of a reversal. I just actually noticed where it was. Maybe it's a coincidence. I have no idea. But we're getting some barcoding action, not like what I saw in Virgin Galactic, but a little bit of sideways action on Rivian. That was at 86, and then it just spiked up to 86.5. So that coming to 89 could still be a bit of a play. Just checking back in on that name. We're not going to ignore, the rest of the EV space today. There was sort of, I guess, some news with Tesla and the Cybertruck, or at least not news, taking it off their website. I think 2022 days off their website, but Tesla's still going to be on watch above that 11. Still going to be looking at Rivian because hey, those are movers. And today NIO is actually it's weird. NIO, 2021, NIO was the day trading EV name other than Tesla, and now it's like okay, your Rivians today, Nikola, Lucid, those have been all the rage. But NIO should be back on radar today with a key level around that 32.
Here, guys, real quick before we get to Rahim Alani just arriving in the studio here. We're going to talk some Canadian opportunities coming up. Coinbase, though, in the news aftermarket yesterday, 2.25% here. Not doing a heck of a lot of volume, but they're buying this crypto futures exchange, or futures exchange, I should say, and plan to sell derivatives. So I was just reading through this. There's not a lot of details as far as this transaction, but interesting look here for Coinbase, I guess, expanding their horizon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested in Coinbase, but the thing is, I'm already dug into a lot of crypto just as crypto, and so I feel like I was looking at Ford here on a possible breakthrough 25. Could be a banger of a trade, man. You want to talk about an EV name that I absolutely love and have been pounding out. Ford's probably the name that I've made the most money on this show in the last little while. Okay, so we were just talking about Coinbase. So I just think it hasn't decoupled itself enough from, and maybe this is a story now, the derivatives, but I don't think it's decoupled itself enough away from the physical Bitcoin and what happens in some of these altcoins. And when you get a dump down here, this is a 20-minute chart. So, we know what's been happening with Bitcoin. Although it just bounced off 40,000. The other day, which, look at this, like a bounce off crypto means Coinbase goes right back up to the upside. So for me, I'm already invested into HUD 8. I'm invested into Coinbase. I did trim some off at 360. Probably about time to buy some back in now. But again, I don't know if it's going to be a right name in this space. I already love crypto enough, but if it starts to fall down, then I'll feel real bad, man, because then I have all of my coins going to the south side, plus some of my holdings. So I think I'd rather deploy capital in other names and then just take my risk on the physical Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, all those names that I've been sort of touting here for the last couple of years. So I'm going to stay with my position in Coinbase and not add here, but I think it's an exciting name.
I like them too. I'm sort of along the same lines. I'll add another name to that, and it's like Square. I think that's a name that could be in trouble this year with its valuation. It's got some exposure as well. So if a pop comes in where there's a reasonable sell level there, maybe taking some of that off to give an opportunity to get back to the market. Because you have to look, you have to watch your exposure. It's something we talked about before, where if you're like, oh, I want to have 5% or whatever your number happens to be in crypto, well, don't discount the fact that you might hold some of the equity as well, right? So the last one I traded on was Silvergate, taking some of that off, and again, it just didn't want to be necessarily overexposed, and it's a lot easier to just own a physical coins if that's what you want to make a bet on. Coinbase, I think it's worth watching as a day trade off of these lows at 210 to 215 if we ever get back there. You can kind of see it's forming a pretty tight wedge down here where it's consolidating off of that low. And the last time it did this, and we hung around for a while, like it was a good quarter last time it got down to those lows before it broke out of the range. So it does feel like there's a chance that we could be back into that. And when that happens, when you're on a range like that, you kind of want to be only trading and buying off of those lows or waiting for it to break out.
Okay, let's bring in Raheem Alani, Managing Director of OCI Groups here in Toronto. Just watching a couple of little stocks this morning, small caps around. Raheem here to discuss, first of all, good to see you, by the way. Welcome back. Let's talk energy, because it's been an amazing month or two for oil markets specifically. Again, we'll throw out a bunch of names here, guys. Some primary listing here in Toronto and Canada, but some of these are going to be dual listed, either OTC or wherever in the U.S. So I want to talk about oil because obviously a huge chunk of the Canadian economy is going to be energy based. Right. A lot of interesting names to start the year off here in Toronto, specifically on the energy side.
Yeah, when you look back on the past year, energy's had a volatile year, and I think it's looking like it's going to settle back in at a range that is acceptable and great for Canadian companies. Now, a couple cold weather here in Canada, how that's going to affect supply, and potentially if there's another lockdown, how that affects demand. So you might want to just do your homework on where you see demand going, and then OPEC just decides, of course, what they want to do, and they adjust accordingly. So you got to just take all of that into account, and then how that comes down into Canadian companies is where that demand goes, where the pricing goes, and if it sticks around at this $80, $90 mark where it is right now, we're getting back to 52-week highs on oil. If it gets back into that consistent range, plus the Canadian dollar that hasn't gone too far out of bounds with respect to inflation, then you get really good dollar flows that are coming into these Canadian companies. And what do they do with that money then? Do they start to pay down debts on these big bets that they took a year and a half, 2 years ago? Or do they go back and share buybacks and dividends? So it's a good time to potentially look at Canadian names.
Yeah, pretty. I was reading a couple things over the past couple of weeks. I mentioned yesterday. I forget what the article was, but it was about 2 weeks ago. I was reading somebody was projecting $175 oil by the end of the year, which is monstrous. Obviously, also multi-month highs on natural gas yesterday on this cold weather that we've been having on the East Coast as well. So even on that sense, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, because a couple of the Canadian names will skew a little bit heavier towards gas, with gas having these higher prices, and again, just adding more cash flow and adding top line into some of these oil and gas producers. For sure.
Yeah, let's jump into a few. New Vista. Tell us about New Vista.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the chart alone, I think we might have talked about New Vista a year ago as a name. It's a great little story. Their assets are in a Pipestone and the Montney asset area. They just announced their Q4, so they were 57,000 BOE per day. 55% of it was nat gas at higher prices that we just talked about. So it's a great looking chart. For 2022, they're looking at spending about $500 million and looking to generate free cash flow of $315 million against $49 million previously. And they only have about $545 million debt remaining, which is a big number. So again, if you're going to spit out free cash flow of $300 million this year, potentially can bring that debt way down.
Yeah, just looking at a daily chart here, guys. Obviously, a smaller price stock here. We're used to seeing the XOMs and the bigger ones, CDX in the US, going to be much more expensive. $7 stock here, $8 stock. Nice breakout yesterday. Technically, it looks pretty good, as does oil. Baytex was the next.
Yeah, again, that's a very strong Western Canadian name, as well as some assets in the U.S. 80% crude, and after Q3, they just announced again $284 million of free cash flow, net income of just over $1 billion, compared to a loss of $2.6 billion a year ago. So you lose $2.6 billion, you make up with $1 billion the following year. The board has also approved $400 million of a capex budget. So these guys are spending money in the ground and looking to generate free cash flow for the next year. And again, where does that go? Does that go towards debt? Does that go towards other in-situ assets? So there's a lot of scope to go with oil prices and gas prices where they are these days.
Yeah, was there one more on the energy side?
Yeah, Cardinal's one that we've talked about a few times. CJ is the ticker.
Yeah.
Western Canada's had a great 2021. It's getting back up near $5, and with $80 oil again, they're going to expect 150, 200 million free cash flow in the year. When you take those numbers into account, if you view oil being where it's going to stay, and these guys being able to supply at the levels that they're at, just generating this type of free cash flow to take a thesis on where you want to be. And if you believe that it's going to continue to go, then you've got debt repayments, you've got dividends looking at.
So more to come as far as the energy space is concerned this year for sure. I want to switch gears here a little bit, talk a little bit about DeFi in general, but also we're going to have a conversation tomorrow with a guest coming on about GameFi specifically, which is supposed to be hot. We hear so much about NFTs. That continues to grow exponentially year over year. Tell us about a few opportunities in the DeFi space.
Yeah, I think the DeFi space is obviously it's growing exponentially. I was listening to an interview yesterday, and the guy was just saying his analysis was you miss a week, you miss a year in this type of business just because things are going and growing so quickly. And I obviously watch in here, so you guys have had a few guys come on, talking about the DeFi space and different opportunities there. Again, it's just growing exponentially. The NFT space is massive. The Ethereum space, and again, where you want to be on Ethereum, Solana, where you want to be on the DeFi space. There's also the Bitcoin space. I just heard Sean talking a little bit about HUD 8. So there's a lot of names, and depending on which way you want to go as an aggregate, you want to invest into a stock that covers a plethora of coins and currencies. That's one way to play it. I'm not a big crypto person myself, so I won't get into that. Yeah. You guys probably have smarter people than me on that. But on the equity side, I can speak to those a little bit and some of the opportunities there.
Yeah, let's go to WonderFi here. Obviously a well-known name. We've talked about it many times on the show, but a nice-looking chart as well for WonderFi.
Yeah, WonderFi, it's been a good-looking chart. Obviously, you guys had Mr. O'Leary on here a few times to talk about it, and Kevin's a big proponent of the company, obviously, and I've watched his interviews, and he just came on the other day to talk about the acquisition. I think it's a good-looking acquisition, and I think, much like some of the other spaces out there, whether it's a cannabis name or whether it's a mushroom name or whether it's a mining name, there's going to be some level of consolidation that's going to start to happen here. And guys with good performing stocks and cash in the bank are going to be able to make deals like WonderFi just did with BitFi, because they're going to be able to add in their liquid piece of paper. They're going to be able to add in their cash and make, whether it's a BitFi of the world that's a private to get them liquid. That could be a great opportunity for some of these privates and public to take advantage of that opportunity.
It was interesting to see on that inflation number, though, this thing came down a bit, and then yesterday, huge day back to the upside. So good look for WonderFi. We'll move on to Smart, SMR.
Yeah, just touching back on that inflation point, I think that people are talking about how inflation gets, because the U.S. numbers are going a little crazy on the inflation side. So some of these proxies, whether it's gold, whether it's cash, and now whether it's crypto, how that all sort of correlates to where inflation's going. So that is a really good point to keep an eye out for the active traders out there. Smart's another one I think you had on a couple of weeks ago. Canadian company here. They're, from a revenue point of view, they're doing 1.6, 1.8 million monthly. They're creeping up to about 2 million a month in revenue. Very small cap company on relative terms from some of the guys you're talking about. But they just got status as a marketplace by all Canadian securities regulators, which is a huge step. So guys like me, you, and everybody else can go in and create these accounts and start actively trading crypto. And if you're doing 2 million a month in revenue, they should be gearing towards 25, 30 million for the year, which is again a big number for a small cap Canadian company. So, and on that business, the margins are pretty decent. You don't have a huge burn on that type of a company. So it's something to keep an eye out for as they gear towards profitability.
Yeah, decent opportunity on that news. Just a couple days ago, we got down to 60 cents, I guess it was. But I mean, we had them on the show I was just after, I think, the IPO, a couple of days after. But just hovering around that 80 cent mark. Quickly here, we'll move on to Hut 8. Wanted to mention Hut, you can trade it both sides of the border, Toronto, and a NASDAQ listing as well.
Right, I think we just brought that up because Sean mentioned it. So we want to make sure Sean looks smart on his call there. So they racked up over 5,000 Bitcoin. They're mining about 8.8 Bitcoin a day. They have about 2,800 for the year. They just racked up $30 million in equipment financing, and that's a big spend for these guys, right? It's obviously where they're getting the money for the equipment. They also added in they want to be environmentally conscious, like a lot of these guys now want to be because they are, energy users. So how do these guys get to that level? That's going to be interesting to see how they tap into that ESG narrative. But when you have the equipment and you're racking up 8.8 Bitcoin a day, it's a pretty good number.
Yeah, I mean, this is a mining company, so this is a pure Bitcoin play.
It was something we want to talk about just outside of the DeFi space because you got to bifurcate sort of the crypto Bitcoin play versus the DeFi play.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to follow the price of Bitcoin pretty closely here as well. So, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Raheem Alani, Managing Director of OCI Group here in Toronto. Good look, guys, at some DeFi opportunities possibly this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a spicy space there. We've been talking about Hut 8 for a bit, and, I like Hut 8 here, and I think that if you don't need it, I mean, look, a lot of us don't trust coins still. So if you're in that space and you do want to get some exposure to just a pure play mining, like Hut 8 down here might be worth it. We've just had a little bit of a drop off, obviously, in their price. And by a little bit, I mean it's cut in half from 17, even more than that, down to $7 here on the NASDAQ. So I think that, again, I don't know. It's just a matter of where you think we can go. But I think you can get definitely from 7 to 8 here, especially if the crypto, it makes a run. Bitcoin makes a run back to 50,000. A 7 to 9, something like that return is definitely possible and probably probable. So I like Hut 8 here. We just talked about Coinbase. Again, those are the only two names that I'm in. I'm in Hut 8. I'm in Coinbase. I'm in basically nothing else crypto other than physical crypto. But WonderFi, a great name. We've had them on. It might be a little high. We saw that they bought BitBuy. But for me, it's Hut 8, it's Coinbase, and it's the physical coins themselves. So other than that, we'll wait to see. And then I say that, but I'm in SoFi, I'm in Square, I'm in PayPal. So there are, lots of exposure to fintech and a little bit to DeFi. So we'll see how it goes. But for right now, it's been a rocky road. Look at Upstart, Neil. I mean, there's been so many names that have gotten crushed here.
And I got to mention this one. I saw someone say it in the chat there a little bit. How do we not talk about C&Q? We don't ignore some good Canadian companies, talk energy there, but that's another gorgeous looking chart. And we were actually just saying as we were listening to Raheem, there's so many good plays that have been great in energy for you that are working. Just another one in the midst of a breakout right now. It's actually exactly 10%. Like if you look at yesterday's close, exactly a 10% break happening on C&Q at 56. That's in Canadian dollars, by the way. But a few things happening that I do want to get into. It is a trading show, so I do have to talk about ADGI, which I am in. A bit active this morning with this stock. I'll zoom it back out so you can quickly see the channel it formed. About 675 into 720. So I shorted into 720, and then I also shorted a breakdown. The breakdown is the trade that I'm in right now. You can call it like two separate trades if you want. Maybe I'll roll into one. But this is the price area, there we go, of interest. So that right here, this $7 to about $7.50, like right in this little pocket here before it had this most recent collapse. Right? I always look back, and when it tries to push up, can it get through that first turn? It reversed at 720. Once I saw that, I'm like, okay, that's right in that window where I would expect it might be able to fail. So I worked a short into it, and then it broke the range to the downside. Now I'm playing the lower end of the range here, scalping all the way. Like I'm going to get some out at the bottom end of the range, going to get some out at the bottom. And I'll do the same thing, rinsing and repeating. I talked about a weird barcoding happening in Virgin Galactic. For those asking, senior notes offering, that's why they're down so much. There we go. Yeah, there was this weird iceberg at 95 that got broken. It got to 11.25. I'm looking at probably the short closer to 11.40 to 11.50, and then see if I can't get this one back down to the lows. The 10.95. We're barcoding here, and then it slipped back. It looks like there is some possible support. It's a random price. It was an iceberg order. There wasn't a lot of size there, but certainly somebody wants to be buying shares in Virgin Galactic at 10.95. I don't know why, but you can see it right there in the chart. I can confirm there was an iceberg order there at the time. It's since been broken.
I just want to talk, an interesting headline just came out right now. So Beyond Meat, and I tweeted this out, so you guys can go check this out if you have it. I'll put it up on the chat here for you. But Beyond Meat is the biggest Russell 1000 short. Okay, so now apparently, according to S3 Partners here, Beyond Meat short interest, 37%. So I put on here, interesting, we know what can happen when short interest gets elevated. So, and a couple of these dudes here too. So we'll wait to see, yeah, some eyes. Yeah, good one there, TJ Fresh. What up, TJ Fresh? But yeah, look, Beyond Meat, again, 37%. We know this is a name that can rally. Like, all you need is like the Reddit warriors to get on this name. And the thing about Beyond Meat is, and I'm not trying to say to go long here by any stretch of the imagination, but, you know, this has been pretty beat down, and it's following the 50-period moving average. It's never broken that 50-period moving average. So if it can get up to like 75-ish, which is a little bit of a run from here, but if it can get up to 75, which is 10% higher, then it's almost just technically for me a decent trade, because you're also basing out here at 65 bucks. So I think this is a great opportunity here for Beyond Meat shareholders. Take a shot maybe, add along here, knowing that it's a huge short interest, and you also have a 60 bottom. So, I mean, worst case scenario, you get out. I mean, look, the bottom's 58, but you get out at 60, take the long at 67. I think it's worth a shot here for Beyond Meat to possibly right the ship. We know they have the new deal with KFC. There's that new deal with Pizza Hut. There's a whole bunch of stuff happening for Beyond Meat. So, hey, let's see what happens here. A name to put on your radar. A very interesting one for sure.
Yeah, it's a big number for sure. We'll watch BYND today. Here we go. Upgrades and downgrades for today. Delta, we'll talk about a few of these actually. Ford back on the list here. Deutsche Bank with a price target increase. Google back to 3,500 for Cohen. NIO as well. Biogen, more downgrades. Snapchat, Twitter, and Upstart.
I like to see that basically all the names on the left side are names that we have on our sticky note, and they're all names that I like. You want to talk about a name that I think is a great value play, Google. I mean, believe it or not, Google, the cash they have on hand, I believe this is one of the better names to buy. It's embarrassing that it went down this low and you didn't pick it up, because I didn't pick any more up. Down to 27.50, well below the 50-period moving average. That was a free $100 basically, all the way back up to 28.50. People are starting to notice that, and there you get the big upgrade. So I think I like that. Snapchat also on the sticky note. I love that short for Snapchat today. Cowen comes out and says that iOS 15 or whatever the heck that last update was, definitely a hindrance to them. We saw them get crushed on their latest earnings report to the downside as they reported a big impact from that update for Apple. So, you know, again, a lot of Snapchat owners are Apple owners too. Obviously, Snapchat a huge mobile. I think that's the only thing they have is mobile. So Snapchat just continues to get beat down. I really, really love the short. On the sticky note, I have to check for myself. 41 bucks is what I wrote down here for a short on the Cowen downgrade. I love that call. We're going to try to play short into Snapchat today.
Yeah, the only difference I have in Snap is it's a weird price. I had 40.85, and I just look back. Last time it flushed, right at the open was right through 48.5, right here. And I'm just looking at that same price level. I'd like to see it confirm through 41 before I want the short in Snapchat. Another one that's going to be on our watch list is actually NIO. So they get an upgrade today. I talked about how they're back in the news, I guess back in the forefront. You know, even though they've been, overshadowed is the word. It's exactly the word. Been overshadowed in China by XPeng. They've been overshadowed in general by Teslas, Rivians, and Lucid for a lot of day traders out there. But the thing I got to notice here today about NIO is this 32. Like, as good as this looks on the daily, and just so you know, like, for whatever reason, specifically on NEO on the 4th, I'm missing like half the day's worth of data, so it did trade up here. But the afternoon resistance was 32, and you have four points, 2 days here and then 2 days here, just below that 32 mark. So it does set itself up for a potential break. The way I treat breakouts these days is I want to see it hold above. Otherwise, I'm looking to first play any kind of a fail break. You saw that kind of play out with that 56.25 on Intel yesterday. Very, very similar setup here on NIO window.
All right, let's bring in Arun here, and we'll get a check of the overall market back in positive territory, as we said, after that producer price index number this morning, Arun.
Yeah, and we're kind of continuing yesterday's move for the most part. And we just kind of went up, we came down, and then we kind of just drifted up, and here we are continuing that move to the upside. And I think that seems to be the general direction that we're going to head in here. There's a decent amount of support around that 4,700 mark. I mentioned that yesterday. Anything south of 4,700 sets up people for the long. And here we are. The issue now, though, is that given where we are, we have 4740 as a minor resistance level. But given the strength that I'm seeing here, we should clear that. I don't want to say fairly easily, but we should get through that. If we get through that, or even if we stay where we are, there's no trade. There really isn't a whole lot to work with, because the only level I'm seeing is 4680-ish. So to make sense of the risk of taking a long, it has to be somewhere south of 4710. And here we are almost 20 points away from that. So unless this market decides to come down, there might be a long that sets up. Same long that was there yesterday. Now, if we can get that today, great. If we can't, and this market were to continue, there really isn't a whole lot that you can work with in terms of levels. The only level I've got left to the upside is 4810, which is the high from what is that? From the 4th. So to the upside, if we were to go, I think we just got to wait for this market to go and maybe set up some new levels that we can work with. But as the way the market's moving, it just seems like it's going to be a game of patience at this point if we were to go to the upside. At least if we were to go to the downside, there is a read to be made. But if we were to go to the upside, I think it's going to be a game of patience. So you just have to wait to see this and see if this market's going to provide something else. But for now, keep in mind, though, we are going into a long weekend as well. So maybe in the next couple of days, there's something else to do. But it does seem like there's only one trade to be made, which is going to be to the long side if we can get it south of 47.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in. Yeah, valid point. Long weekend coming up Monday as the markets are closed. There's a link to the watch list if you need an absolutely free resource to send it out every single morning with everything you need to know heading into the open, all the stocks that are moving around, and why. Just can help you out in the chat with that this morning. We'll start things off with airlines this morning. The entire group is higher after Delta reports much better than expected Q4 results. Right across the board, EPS 22 cents, beating 14. Revenue, even net profit was higher than expected for Delta, which is surprising, I guess a little bit, considering the lack of travel. I also read that airlines in the U.S. specifically continue every single day to fly thousands of planes empty just so they are able to hold their slots at different airports. But a lot of strength here this morning.
And Delta, yeah, look, I was just looking at Snapchat there because you had that on the upgrades versus downgrades. But yeah, Delta today, wow, a good move. And I think this is nice to see as one of the first airlines to come out and report. Good to see like a nice little 2.27% bump here. It's actually starting to go right now. It was kind of sleeping a little bit there, up about 1.8%, and then fell down. It's actually not starting to go. It did start to go and stopped. When I was looking at it, it was down here near 41. So that's a nice bump on the PPI number. Straight to the upside here, and we'll see if it can take out that $42. This was whoopsies. This was an area that I was looking at. Where's my daily chart? For the daily break. We've already been to 42 before, so I like 42 to crack for a nice little long trade here on Delta. They talked about headwinds for the first quarter coming up, and then possibly around President's Day, so late February to early March, they're seeing an increase, a hopeful increase. They can already see tickets bought in advance and things like that. So we do got to take, what CEO and what they're saying on the call as being legit. So they see an uptick happening in February, March, which if everybody's calling Omicron, Deltacron, Flumicron, that all this is going to be over with in the next week. I mean, people are calling peak in the next couple weeks, depending on what country you're in. So, hey, if we get that, I think confidence returns to the consumer, which is obviously super important. We'll go up through 42 bucks. I'm still waiting, and I've talked about this with the oil space. I know airlines are hedged in oil, but I just don't know if they expected this kind of a huge move. But I don't think that rhetoric is right, because it doesn't seem like there isn't much talk about sort of the cost of fuel here for airlines, as it hasn't really affected the price, considering oil's going completely up, and so is this. So we'll wait to see. They're probably hedged properly. Again, Delta big in international flights, so as the world opens back up, I like Delta here. It's up 2.5%, plus they've already sort of green-lighted, hopefully green-light the forward bookings. So hey, I think Delta's a strong play. I wrote it down here that I'd like to get the long. You know, we already know that 40 can hold because it held yesterday down here to 40.50. If by some crazy chance this does fall, we do want to start to pick some up at 41, and then we want to look at this 40.50 area. And then ultimately, if we're wrong, you know, we're going to have to cash out or lose out if it cranks through 40 to the downside. But I didn't see anything negative. Their EPS beat Neil. I like it. I don't see a problem. And I've been sort of telling everybody to don't even worry about which one to take. Just take this Jets ETF. But again, you know, they don't have the single stock risk involved, but it's not going to move the same way that an individual stock does. But you see this ETF already up 1%. So I think it's great for the whole industry.
Look, I like Boeing and GE for exposure to the industry in the long term. It's just kind of been my preference, because I had this notion that eventually airlines are more like a utility. There's too much up and down. We need them. You're constantly running into issues needing to be bailed out, and then you're running into bankruptcy. It's such a difficult thing to prepare in long term. That's why you get the fluctuations. However, on Delta, like, it's just like zooming out will show you this maybe a little bit better on the daily chart. This is $42 right here, right? Like the first time we broke 42 after the pandemic. Look at the breakout at 42. And then you got to break down, resistance again at 42, breakout at 42, snap down on a huge candle to 42, another big breakout on an upward candle, and then you come into right now and you have this consolidation below $42. So, I mean, look, three times it was very, very clean to the upside. You could call it. You could probably squeeze in a fourth if you really wanted. At some point, that's not going to work. Until it doesn't, it's like, look, I'm just going to go long on a 42 break. I got the order set on Delta. It's worked so well at this price area. You get the positive news. You get people thinking Omicron, like Sean said, might be abating, and the market's trying to be forward-looking. In the second half of the year, could bode well for them. I think there's a lot of optimism there. There's definitely trades in the airline. I'm just only looking at that 42 break. So hopefully that breakout will work out and see what it's done here.
Boeing, guys, Bloomberg reporting this morning that Chinese officials could give the green light for the 737 MAX to resume operations in that country as soon as this month. So we have a quick look there. Boeing, guys, showing strength as well.
I just thought my breath said, could they though? Like, well, I mean, it's one of those.
They will.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, eventually, right? It's just a matter of as soon as this month. I think is the key. Is the key word there. Boeing. Look, I think we might have mentioned when it broke past the 50 period there, and I now look to that previous support start like this 205, and I think now that the 50 period, this 205 level has been reestablished, you start thinking about the breakout. So the top of that range was at 219. So pretty simple. I think at the top of that range, the previous 219, I kind of screw out. A lot of times these failed breakout areas, forget about it. This is the channel here. You got a 217-ish bottom, 219 at the top of the range. I'm dip buying in front of it. Already, it's looking like it was. Well, it was looking a little bit more like it was going to slide down. It would definitely give you that dip off of the open. If it does manage to hold like a 220 or something, consolidation on a pullback, I might try to jump in a little bit early. Favoring, and again, like you could probably look at a breakout on Boeing at 225 even. I don't think that would be taking a breakout on Boeing and Delta, right? Like it just would make to me, it wouldn't make a heck of a lot of sense. I'll go to breakout on Delta. Where's Boeing trying to pick this up if I can get it in front of the support that was just established? So that's the plan of action on Boeing. Still love it. I like what it's doing, and hopefully this ends up being actually true. And there's no reason not to believe they'll get that go ahead. The key is that it's coming very quickly or soon.
Yeah, so I want to give a big shout out. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Boeing as well. It's not on my sticky note, but hey, I mean, I own Boeing, and I think it's a good bump here for them. And that's the whole thing. I'm waiting for China to come and buy a whole crap ton of airplanes. So when that happens, I'll get a little bit more excited. Okay, so just to talk about, thank you again for the super chat here. What do we think about Ford? What's my plan on it? Thanks for asking. I mean, Ford's been a great stock. Ford has been so fantastic on this break. This is when it was on the sticky note with stars and with little googly eyes and everything when we broke out above this $21, right? $21.70. This break was absolutely fantastic, and we just got rocket shipped up to the upside. The only thing about that break of 25 that you're asking about is that we winked up here a couple times and faded out both times, including this day where we wound up ending the day negative, and then this day when we broke above the two multi-decade high of 25.12 and then closed negative. So both the days that we bumped above 25, we actually end the day negative. That's not a good sign, but at the same time, Ford continues to work, and I don't see why it would be a problem up here. For me, yesterday, let's see, do we have yesterday's trades on here? No, we do not. But we waited, and we're trying to be as patient as we can be down here with the 2350 area. And Ford was an absolutely that's the other day. This is yesterday. Ford was absolutely fantastic down here at 24. We're able to take this and make it for a nice couple trades yesterday. We talked about a long opportunity. We were long down here at 24.05, which is fantastic, and then wound up taking it out here at the end of the day. One of my last trades on Ford was right up here at 24.40. So we hit it long yesterday, and I'm going to try to do the same thing again here today. We're trying to find some areas because we're already pretty high up. I don't mind if we take out this 24.80 area, maybe yesterday's high. Look, this is what I'm getting at. Long story short, is that yesterday off the open is when all got very exaggerated into the upside there, and then it dropped. Then it dropped heavily down yesterday, right? So can we expect the same type of thing? Look, yesterday's open looking very similar to today's open. So I kind of want to wait on this name, although you got the S&P and the NASDAQ bumping today, which makes Ford a little more interesting here, not coming into a negative print. We're going to come into a nice open here on the market. So I think Ford's a take when we break through this 24.75. So let's take a break from 24.75 off the open and then just be as cautious as we can. Like if it comes back down and takes out these market levels here of what might take it out right now, 24.60, we got to dump it, man. We can't just hold this 24.75 because if it does retrace like it did yesterday all the way down there, then we've got a nice little 75-cent loser on our hands because we're going to have to make a decision at 24. So let's take a break there, right? Not a full position, maybe like a half position, and then we'll get out on the bottom. We've got to see what these bottoms are. There's only 15 minutes left. The bottom might be this 24.60.
Big numbers for Taiwan Semiconductor. They reported as well. It was actually overnight that they reported, but 6% jump for.
But really feeling good, ready to
6%
get
was
at the market.
profit in the fourth quarter. Right across the board, though, numbers were better than expected. 5.5% here. We're at day highs already for TSM, but a lot of strength coming to all of the chip makers on this number.
Yeah, TSM nailed it. Look, if you know, I've been involved in Intel, and you got to consider TSM has been a faster grower than Intel over the last couple of years. One of the big notes in their earnings release, of course, was that their investments are like 50% heavier in investments to combat the shortage and be able to ramp up supply. So they're not just growing faster. They're actually now looking to be more aggressive in terms of their expanding their capabilities. So they can be a winner in a lot of ways. They can be a winner. Like people like talk about the metaverse and whatnot, but they can be a winner in that regard as well. They can be a winner for you with regard to EVs and the changeover that's going there. So lots of new cars are going to be on the road. There's lots of ways that you can start thinking about the chip space. Now they're dragging a few names with it here today. I saw a couple that were in the positive territory. I think maybe like the most by 2%. But for the most part, you are talking about a one-trick pony. Like these guys are 5, and there wasn't a heck of a lot that was looking as strong. Now we do have this 142 level up here that I would sort of caution. I think maybe you could see a little bit of a pullback off that 142. Just when you look at the chart, like TSI, I know we're post earnings here, but outside of earlier, right at the beginning of the year when it got an initial bump, you don't always have these kind of massive moves here. So we might have a little bit of a turnaround at that 142. That's what I'm looking for. And if we do get that, I would try to be coming back into this channel here, which I would hope to have traded 137 to 138. Had it broken the bottom, obviously that's not going to happen now. It's looking similar to Boeing, where I'd go back to a channel of support. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. This is one where the breakout has already gotten away, and I'm not chasing it up at 140 when that 142 does linger, right? So I'm looking at that level on the daily chart. If that provides you an area to maybe to get in, or a quick little day trade short, that's the name of the game. But this is a good. They're going to work in the next 2 years. Of course, check your exposure. Like for me, I'm already pretty exposed to all elements of chip production. So adding TSM, not necessarily my ballpark, but you really can't go wrong with them overall. As terms of a place to get in, I would probably give it a couple of days. I would probably give it a couple of days here, just because I think it could bounce down off that 142, and then you might get an opportunity at a better price. But there's not really anything bad you can say about that.
No, we like Taiwan Semis as well. Yeah, Taiwan Semi. It's on here, man. It's running away now. We already talked about that up through 135. We wrote this obviously before PPI, but it's a nice little bump here. I want to try to buy any kind of dip, possible long on a pre-market high break. So, looking at what the pre-market is doing right now, it's kind of just broke that high at 139.25, but we're coming in. Actually, there's still 14 minutes to go, so there's lots of time here to develop some levels. But it's doing what we kind of want it to do. It's barcoding right down here between 138.50 and 139, and then that's the break. So we sort of hope that maybe it can come back into this area here, where we can buy some of this dip. So I want to buy a 138 for sure. I want to buy some 137. So we're going to wait for that to happen, and then if a pre-market break happens for us, I don't know. I don't like Neil was saying there just at the end. I don't know if we want to break this already. It's already sort of gone here. This is the Zach setup that I like though. It kind of reminds me of that Ford where you're kind of breaking out right around here, 126, and now taking that next leg up. But you can go back here to January. So it's not. This has still been dead money. I mean, it's breaking out right now, which has been fantastic. But like if you've been in Taiwan Semi instead of AMD or Nvidia or any of the other big names for the whole year, it's been bad for you. But right now, not bad, it's been fine. But I mean, it's been very frustrating to see this. Any kind of a pickup down here at 105 would have been fantastic. But we're going to check out this break right now. We're already at past resistance, so we'll see if it can take out that 142. I believe it does. It's just a matter of does it do it today. That would be up about 10%. We'll see if that, well, no, actually about 7 or 8%. We'll see if that can happen. But you do have that 140.50 staring you in the face. So there's lots of levels to work on. I think just we'd like to get it a little bit lower, somewhere in here, 138, 137. But it doesn't look like we're going to get that opportunity as the NASDAQ continues to march higher here. We'll probably test that 16,000. And, the semis continue to work. AMD's up today, Nvidia, they're all good to go. So, hey, just keep on buying it, man. Buy the SMH, buy whatever you want, SOX, any SOXX, anything you like. There, I love the space. It's metaverse time.
Let's go to the years. First, relatively large IPO coming today, guys. I mentioned it yesterday if you joined us in the afternoon. TPG Partners coming to the NASDAQ today. $1 billion raised. They sold their shares at $29.50 a piece. So they're going to come to market at $9.1 billion in valuation. This is a private equity firm. They have investments in those, Airbnb, Spotify, Burger King, McAfee, to name a few.
Yeah, we finally get an IPO to start the year. We'll get some other ones. Look, there'll be others in the slate. Reddit's going to be one that we're excited to potentially trade. I think that'll be good. As usual, we don't really know when it's going to open up. I can tell you with its interest, we're going to be constantly, we'll report back on what the imbalances might be. So we'll have a locator up. We're able to say this is the indicated price. I mean, they priced it pretty much right in the middle of the range. So what I would first like to see is that we're getting indicated prices above the range. Higher than that $30, $35, we'll see what happens. If there isn't a lot of upward momentum into it and it stays in that pocket, sometimes it's not the biggest day trade in the world, but that whole notion of if we open, let's say we open at the high end of the range, you find that first level of support or that first even, either take the opening print, hold it in front of that support level and see if you can't get an initial bounce on that momentum. That's the kind of play I'm going to be looking for, but we'll be constantly updating you as we get whether it's an indicated price opening or it gets closer to the time when the paired volume comes off. That's usually our best guess. So it's one that I plan on trading here today. I just don't know what time we're going to get to do it.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be all over this name for sure. TPG, I don't have anything up now. I'm just looking at my Snapchat trade. But yeah, look, a big IPO. We've done it before. You just take the long, it's on the sticky note. And like Neil said, we wait to see some support and or some resistance. We don't know the price is going to come out at. We'll keep you updated with TPG, but I think you got to go long off the opening print. But again, you know, you got to be able to scalp it. And I think, yeah, this is just Snapchat, so this doesn't really matter too much. But TPG, not much to talk about other than it's a new IPO. Watch it. We'll see what time it comes out. It doesn't come out for 11. We're here all day. This channel, you don't have to change, man. Keep this on for YouTube. We've got Brad coming up, and well, not coming up now, but he'll be here at 11 when we do our midday mover show there, and it should be an exciting show, especially if it IPOs at that point. I'm hoping it IPOs for us, because you know, I want to be able to trade it and show all you guys, but I know Trader Brad will be on that as well. So let's just see how it opens up. It's been fire before. Some IPOs work, some don't. But again, you know, a big name one that people are talking about, I think it's worth taking a small amount of shares, you know, at the open just to see what happens.
Let's talk about EVs here as well. NIO back in positive territory, red to green already in the pre-market here. It was 86 research, so not a huge upgrade, but another upgrade and a price target increase for NIO, as I said. Back to green here, 0.25%.
Yeah, so no, just actually trying to pull up his because like if you look at the fourth, I told you guys, I kind of mentioned this. If you look at the fourth, that big drop, see that big red candle? Go to Sean's chart for a quick second there. If we can, there we go. See that big? Yeah, that's a big red candle. So I'm looking at that 32 level as the afternoon high that day. But if I pull up my chart, you're going to see a big blank spot there. I don't know why, but it is what it is. It's 32 that I'm concerned with. You can come back to mine if you want. Thanks, guys. Yeah, there we go. It's basically the same thing. This 32 level is all I'm looking at here today. I don't know that I want to trade off anything else unless it's all the way down here at 30 to 30, 40, like this kind of support area. You're going to look here. This is a nice cluster down at that range. And I think if it does an absolute tank, that would definitely be where you want to get out in front of. So either I'm trading it off this or I'm taking a clean break at 32. If I'm playing a level like this, I got to be able to play it in both directions. Otherwise, it's a waste of a good level. You know what a pop and fade looks like. That means if it tries to get here off the open, because you look at these highs, it's actually shy of 30, 32, 3190 here, just about 3190, a few times failing. If we try to get there at the open and do not break through, then it's a tight stop short in front of 32 even. I don't mind reversing that, but I'm definitely wanting to play a level like this two ways. And one of the reasons why I like to break it, because you look at that gap, the time it went down. You look at the breakout yesterday out of that bottom cluster into this range. So if it were to fail, there's a lot of room for it to run in either direction. That's why it's a good, nice little price area for Neo.
Yeah, I wrote down here on the sticky note that I was really looking at like a 30-50 area or something like that. It's all the way up. Let me just read what my note was again here. Upgraded 3 great days in a row. Yeah, if we can get a long back down. We've seen Neo, let me go to a 20-minute chart here, a little bit better to look at that. It's been pretty violent, man. I mean, what a great upside here on this day when we saw all the Chinese names start to go crazy. But again, I was just sort of looking at there is some kind of support down in here. That's 30-50 down here. We're way off from that. Again, a 32 break probably gets this thing going. So I like 32 break. There's no doubt about that. But we will try to. I mean, 30-50 is only right down here where we started yesterday. So I do have some bids in starting around 30, 31, 30, 60, something like that. So if Neo does fade back in, I do want to take the long. And I think we have a nice bottom here at $30. You can't get any better than that. So let's wait to see if we have to defend something. But I think Neo may be a trade that we look at a little bit later. I'm fine missing an initial break in case it does like a little pump and dump, but we'll have to see if if that will work. Just quickly here, we haven't checked out the imbalances. This is something that could rally Neo. The space, Neil's talked a little bit about that. I know he knows more about the stock than I do as far as key levels, and you're talking about that 1095, so we can look at that. DD as well on the buy side. I don't know why this says JPM.M there, but JPM on a sell side, and oh yeah, BAC-Q. So there's someone's put in, I don't know what shares these are, but it's not a warrant or anything. But anyways, there's a few sells there on some banks, and then there's the big guy there, Taiwan Semi. Again, when you have big bids like this, to me that means it's going to fade back in. So it's starting to rally, not even really, but it rallies a little bit once they see some of these numbers on the imbalance locator. And then obviously that's going to get paired off and do nothing at the open. So then that either shoots it up falsely and then we dip down a little bit, or that just gets done. And then because it's done, it can fade back in. So we're going to wait to see on Taiwan semi. But again, my bids are a little bit lower, but not much on here other than space. Yeah, okay, good. I think you were saying there was there a buyer or a seller at 10.95?
It was both. It was actually both ways.
So now we're above
it. Turns out that the buy actually held it up more, so that's why it went above.
All right, yeah, back to Brendan. Over there at the big screen. Oh, a name that we didn't look at yet, BTCS.
Yeah, low float stock here, guys. 4 million shares, crypto related, obviously. This is the one that, pardon me, said they're going to pay their dividend in Bitcoin. Going back to the beginning of the year. So this thing's already come back through this 880 level, which if you go back on the daily chart is significant. Tried to go, there was huge volume that came in on the buy side, took it right up through 9. I actually tried this long first, got absolutely stuffed right back down through 880, flipped short. I would love a move back into this area to get more on the short side, but might not happen. So long way to go, all the way back to where it was yesterday, down around 650 for BTCS, guys.
Yeah, just 3 minutes to go here. So quickly, DWAC didn't make the watch list, but look, if you were watching the afternoon show, you saw it break that 70 level in the mostly in the aftermarket. It broke it before, but it really started running in the aftermarket. It's pulling back in, so we're not really, we are gapping down. I guess I can call it that because we closed at 71. This only got to 73. If you pull all the way back in the daily, 75 and 77. Those are the key levels of resistance. It is breaks down here, through that 70 area. I kind of looked at what the last breakout was, and if you look at it, this is about 65, 66, where its last break happened, forming that wedge. So that would be around where support I would anticipate is going to start to come in here. It seems like it's just being bought up going into that announcement or release on President's Day. So one to watch. And then you mentioned Virgin Galactic, so if I can very quickly. Virgin Galactic, only 3 minutes to go. I'm looking to short a pop in Virgin Galactic. It hasn't really come far enough for me to want to get this at around 1140 to 1150. If I take a first shot and it breaks 50s, I'm willing to get back in, probably try the 3/4. But I don't want to go to the grave here. It's down over 10%, so it's short sell restricted. I am looking to rather short a pop, especially after I saw this little barcoding and then volume bounce to the upside. So I'd rather get it at a decent price there. I'm also in that BCCS and the ADGI as well with Brendo. That's one I have one leg to add in ADGI, but it's got a double top at 720. Lots to look at here. We talked to Boeing, we talked to Neo, the EV names. It's like we're all over the place. We got airlines, we got EVs, we got Digital World Acquisition, Virgin Galactic, and I didn't even talk about Vorb.
Yeah.
Because Virgin Orbit has the launch today.
Vorb on the line here. Yeah. Just quickly, guys, here, if you come to the screen, look, a little bit of a trading headline here. Obviously, Beyond Meat right now, the biggest Russell 1000 short as of S3, 37%. We all know what can happen. Interesting when the short gets a little elevated. We know what could happen. Boom, we can go boom on that one. So let's see. Find me on Twitter at TraderTVSean. But look at Beyond Meat. We're starting to head to the downside here. It's made a nice little bottom at 60. We do have this 50-period moving average that we really like. If it takes that out, it could be nothing but upside. A nice little short. We'll see if it wants to moon out right now on Beyond Meat. Could start to go to the upside with a 37% short. Hey, it was about a year ago, right? When AMC, GameStop all started to go crazy. So I like Beyond Meat right now, guys. Let's see if we can make this name work. There's nothing about it other than the short interest. But remember, we have Taco Bell. We have a few new things with Pizza Hut. We have KFC, Yum Brands all involved with Beyond Meat. Let's see if it goes Beyond Meat. Hey, high short interest could be one to watch, guys.
Yeah, it definitely could be. We talked a little bit of Coinbase as well, by the way, up that 3%, so I don't want to completely ignore it. It made a bit of a move to the upside. I still think it's a buy the dip and be a little bit patient, but 40 seconds to go. I'm going to be guessing again as to who is going to be on the ballot. These should be back tomorrow. Is that the expectation? No, it's... Oh, I was surprised. I thought it was going to be Randy. It looks like Lucas is going to be on the bell. So there he is. He's already twirling it around. Watching some Neo. That just immediately tested that 390 to 32 at 3190 to 32 area. So that can be the first to go off in the open. Already in several positions. John mentioned
several.
Okay, a couple.
No,
several should always be more than 2, less than 10, I should say. You're right about that. So, anyways, watch that Beyond Meat. Here comes the bell. 4, 3, 2, and ring. Where did
Let's do this.
That's a good one, Rob.
All right, so we are now into Snapchat as it's starting to just get hammered right now. So let's go put it. Wow, now it's right back up. We'll see where Snapchat goes. 40.70 on the bid right now for Snapchat. We're short at 40.90, but it has yet to open. So let's watch out for Snapchat. We're on the bid right now on this one. 40.65 on the bid right now testing. So there it is, a nice little 25-cent win there on Snapchat to start the day, guys.
And ADGI already starting to flush. You see it pop. Couldn't get through 7. Forget about 720. Bottom end of the range is down here in front of 650. So already making sure that I get shares out in this aggressive range. As a matter of fact, I probably should have closer to half of the shares out already. Just watching NIO as well. You see that if you're watching that BTCS, that's also falling. NIO, did I get it wrong? NIO starting to test that 32 area right before the market opened up, and the rollover was too fast. I was waiting till 9:30. I wanted to pump first and then fade. It doesn't even want to give you that push. So if it can bounce, I'll try to get it short in front of that 32, but you know the setup. I'm always looking for it to pop a little bit so I can fade it.
Pop and drop. Okay, so Snapchat looks like it's open now, so we can watch out to see where this one wants to go now. We already took our bid out for 25 cents, but now the New York has opened up the books. So now we'll wait to see where Snapchat goes. We still do like it. First position in on Snapchat. We'll look at Nikola. Nikola is fading down a little bit here, which is no problem. We want to get longer on this name, so I'm already long right now at 11s. You know, it has to drop a little bit further than that for me to get into a bigger position. You know, looking at like this 1080 or so to start to build again here on Nikola. So that's a name. Taiwan Semi, let's have a look. I have no idea what it's doing. Darn it. So there it is, that pre-market break, man. We talked about that, but we weren't aggressive at all with it. We didn't even leave it. We left it alone. But we should have had that, man. It's right there. Oh, pre-market break would have given me $2 on that name. So we had that as something that we were looking for, but unfortunately there it is, man. Right back up to the upside. We missed Taiwan Semi, but it's on the sticky note as that pre-market breaker. Big time movement. I don't know if you have it, Neil, but I don't.
I don't, and I don't have any version. So the same thing that happened on Neil, it looks like it might have happened to me on Virgin Galactic. Like there was just, the pop was in the pre-market, and you had to take the initial position off of the pre-market there. So all I have is the 2 shorts on that you see, like BTCS and ADGI, you guys can see up there. I never got into Virgin Galactic. I'll check back in on it. Neil might still give me an entry point, but wow, DWAC. DWAC with the harsh reversal back into 68, oddly enough, right? So it tries to pop and fade. Why did, like, this is the one that pops and rolls over, the other ones don't give you a shot, and then you come right back into this 68. This was the high right here before. When we ended our show, 68 was the high. It goes right into that level and then comes off and bounces back. If it crushes 68, this could be headed further southbound. Is that Brendan?
Some other semis getting some love here as well this morning. We mentioned the entire group pretty positive. Here goes Micron. Wow. 96.5 up to 97.5. Huge volume though from Micron, guys.
Yeah, Micron, Taiwan Semis. You can check out AMD as well. We are reloading up in Snapchat. We tried to get actually this 4110 there. We were sitting there, but we missed the initial pop and tried to get it again. So we'll reload this trade if we can get that down here, or a little bit above 41 here. Wow, AMD continues to rock and roll, man. Sorry about that, whoever that was, Matt, I think it was Matt R, put half his life savings in at, 137. It did dip down to 125. Wondering if you're still in that one, Matt, but there it goes, AMD rifling to the high side right now. I'm still peed off a little bit because you don't get too many great opportunities like you do on Taiwan Semi here, and we talked about it. It's right on the sticky note. We even said it before, like the only trade here, look, possible long on pre-market high break. That was 139.50, and we sat there with twiddling our thumbs looking at Snapchat as that pops up to the upside. So big time missed opportunity on that one, man. Wow. I feel
is that, well, it's definitely a big miss. I'm just trying to figure out if this is, like, I'm not even going to try and celebrate the 2 stocks that are on, because missing out on Virgin Galactic is like, I mean, come on, man. Like, that's, you talk about, and I sort of talked about this before with, and I said lemon. I usually, in that bucket of stocks that are either not making money or you're going to struggle in 2022, I kind of keep it to the ones that I'm in for your shop play types, and I have, like, I'm in Virgin Galactic. You'll see me talk about it firm because I own shares of that, and that's why I talk about lemonade. There's plenty in that bucket, but this was an easy short, and yeah, I have a gap in my daily chart on Virgin Galactic as well, guys, but that was sort of an easy short that I should have got into. I was picky about wanting it on a pop. It just, like, like breaking through that 12 was bad enough when it already happened, and now you're looking all the way back under that $10 back, magic number at $9. And if you look at the first time it squeezed to the upside, its support was at 9. I think that's where it could be headed, the single digits eventually. So I guess I'll be looking at 10 and 11. If it pops back up and I can get 11, I feel like it's not going to give it to me. I'll try that shot over there. I can tell you that ADGI continues to push. I'm now more aggressively out of it. I said I need to get more shares out in front of those lows, so I got a little more aggressive. It's now punched through 650, so 6.25 is going to be the next level down here. And watch out for, on the other end of the coin, the other short is BTCS. Like that name just spiked right back up to this same 8.25 level. So if I can get a reload there, I'm going to try and do so. But I like this one back in here to this 840. If it breaks it, I can quickly get out, but that's already started to work. Brendo.
A big mover yesterday, back to the upside here. Biogen, nice relief rally here, 4% straight higher, guys. About $10 so far to the upside for BIIB.
We got a nice little win here for, that's Biogen?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I bought Eli Lilly yesterday. We'll have to check that out for you guys as well. Okay, so Delta comes right in. Oh, yeah, go Delta. 25 cents in the money now. This is, again, another level that we had written perfectly on our sticky note, defending this 40-50 level. And there it goes, man. Delta with a little flush off the open and then a boomer now to the upside, man. If we could take this out, like, what is this, 41.05-ish? We could take it out somewhere around this pre-market level, maybe even this 41. Right now, we should do that, man. Delta with a booming trade right now. And then there's Snapchat on the reload. We told you the exact price we were reloading there on Snappers. So there it is, coming back in right here for Snapchat. So that's going to be a good reload for us as well. Let's just take a piece out on that one if we can. And there it is on 85. So yes, sir. It's already spinning around right now on this name. And there goes Delta. Hell yeah. Hell yeah on Delta. Let's go. Can we get a 22? Bang right there on Delta as that's going as well. Oh, there goes Delta right up to the upside. Good call on this one. Boom that. We talked about defending that 40-50 level. We got that exact price. Boom into the upside. A nice little win there for Delta. Snapchat, we on one right now, boys. But Nikola to the downside.
Yeah, I mean, Neo, I'm still looking to see if I can catch it. When it's starting to pop back up, if I get a shot at 31.50 to 75 will be the first entry. DWAC starting to come into range as well, because if you look at that afternoon resistance support level, that's 69.5. So if it breaks that low and it can hold here, I like 69.5 for a quick little stop. Brennan again?
Typically exciting as far as a group, but Home Builders very strong to start. KBH reported they're up huge. Wasn't really doing much in the pre-market, but ripping now, guys. KBH 15%, even Lennar getting a boost on that as well.
Yeah, check out KBH, check out Lennar, check out all of them, guys. Today, nice little bumps in a lot of these stocks. I'm going to focus on, and someone just said, boom, day done, AAL, Delta, things like that. It doesn't take, you don't need to have, like I'm in 3 positions right now, but you don't need to be in all these positions. Sometimes it's just, you take that one trade and that's that, right? You can end your day off. You don't need to be sitting there making multiple trades, but we're darn glad that you're joining us here again today as we have a couple of nice winners on that ADGI for Neil. Brendan has that stock as well. And I got Snapchat, Delta. And then right now we are looking here at Nikola as it's coming right into some of these levels that we didn't mind at all. 1080, so we took a 1085 bid there. Now average price 93, so we're not in trouble on Nikola. But again, maybe this news is not as good as we thought there from California coming through. So we'll have to wait to see what happens here at this 1040 level on Nikola. But whoopsies. Looking at a 20-minute chart though for Nikola, it seems fine. Down here again, we are looking at these bottoms of 980. I'm not too worried about that. It's more like a reload around here 1050. So let's be wrong on Nikola down here around 1050. So that's what I'm going to put on my next piece. I don't know if it's bad enough news to go red today. So 1050, more reloads here on NKLA, guys.
Yeah, we'll hit this one for DWAC. So support comes resistance. That's usually the way we like to play. It just felt like it broke down. Like I wanted to see if it could break upside and short like 77 or 75, but it never happened. We break the pre-market lows. It comes right into a channel towards the top of the channel. I'm always going to try to go to the similar types of setups because it's just, look, it's a lot easier to play setups as they come in if you know what they're going to look like. So you can just sort of execute your plan. Unfortunately, when you have a plan, you got to follow it to a certain extent. So I am going to have missed out on Neo. It looks like it's now down all the way at 31.25. The other side of the coin for Neo for me was if it were to get down to the 30 to 30.50 channel. So I do like the long down there. There's still a chance that maybe I can short it off of the top, but it's starting to get away, unfortunately. Boeing, I'm surprised that never came in here. Because you would think, I mean, you saw Delta came in for Sean on the dip buy. Boeing never really came close enough. It got to 220, sitting in front of 219, and looks like it might be headed back northbound. I'm going to leave my bid in just in case we get a further retracement in that particular name. And then I know a lot of people were looking at 2 names yesterday. I'll get to at least one of them if I can get it to load up. That's Vinco Ventures. In the afternoon show, there was NXTD was running. Vinco Ventures was also making some moves. Vinco breaking to the upside as we speak. And BBIG, oh goodness, come on, 15-minute chart. Some of the levels that we're, if it'll load up, some of the levels that we were discussing up here, if they'll load up, that 330 area about to come into play. You're going to have to take my word for it. If you're watching the afternoon show and you can pull back far enough, you're going to be able to see we like this 330 level coming up on Vinco Ventures.
Okay, yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Good level there on Vinco. We are now averaged into this Snapchat short right now. So let's see if this wants to work. We do get a big bump up here in the NASDAQ. And again, Cowen just downgrades Snapchat. Kind of, hard to take a name that, can rally, of course, in tech strength here. But I still like Snapchat coming back down to the downside. And where we're going to be wrong, where we're going to be wrong on this, I don't know, maybe we can, what am I doing here? Like, why is this so zoomed in here? I don't know what's happening. I'm trying to zoom out and it just goes the other way. There it is. So just looking at yesterday here, we have 42 high. We're short right now at 41. Looking at that 42 level right there coming into play. So we'll see. That was that bottom. Obviously, we closed yesterday at 43. So Snapchat's still down 3%. I just don't think that's enough to the downside. So we'll try to short this into 42. And if it takes out 42, then we're a loser on Snapchat. But hopefully it doesn't do that. And we now can retrace back to the downside, especially if the NASDAQ in the market tends to fall here. But we've got a nice little winner on right now as we still have this delta. We did not reload it. We're just going to hold this, see if we take out some of these highs or back into the pre-market and take a nice little win here on Delta. We saw what they were said on their report. Seemed to be fine. They gave sort of the all clear for Q1 here, possibly into Q2. Headwinds, hopefully abating here for them. So I like this name back up to the upside. And there goes Snapchat back down to 41. So it looks like we rolled the dice on this one and can cash out pretty soon here near 41 bucks.
Yeah, and just a quick note that BBIG, I didn't actually check for pay for short. So every now and then, it's a name that wasn't at the front of my list, but it turned at that 330 level. So look, it still has a chance to maybe hold up support at 3 even. Now that I have my chart up for you on the 15-minute, I can kind of show you a little bit better. We closed right at about 288, but you have a nice consolidation in the afternoon, right around 85 into 3. Top end of that range, I think maybe you can hold that $3 level. If I can't short off 330, I like round numbers and even things. 10% down gives you about that $3 level. So if we can hold that up, I love taking the 2s, 3s, 4s in front of an even stop. So if there's any size at 3 even, grabbing a quick long on BBIG, so it's going to be well worth it. And just one last one. DWAC's getting close to breaking that low of the day. If it breaks the low, I'm looking to hold it through 68, not cover.
All right, guys. So, I mean, look, it's at Trader TV Sean, okay? Don't do what I do in trading, but at least check out some of these notes. This is exactly, Beyond Meat was on nobody's radar. It's not on our watch list. It's absolutely nowhere, okay? Look at Beyond Meat. Bang, all the way to the upside, up 6% on that short report. Trader Joe, I'll give it a try. Hey, why the hell not? Congratulations, Trader Joe. I should have been on this name, but I'm glad to bring it to you. Beyond Meat continues to work as that is a boomer now to the upside, up 6.2%. Continues to make this move upside here. Beyond Meat, man, that short report there, we talked about that, or not the report, but just talking about where it was. So beat down, but Beyond Meat today, starting to pick it up. Might be too high now, already up 5%, but someone took advantage of that. What's up, Brendo?
Volume following that move to the upside as well. Wanted to mention some of the vaccine names here quickly, guys. NVAX, first off, 4% on a flush. A few of the other ones looking very similar, but big volume spike there. At the bottom, it would appear at temporarily anyways, for NVAX down 4%.
Yeah, and that's another look. We've definitely seen that one be in the news before. I tend to prefer to trade Moderna, which, by the way, that's under a lot of pressure as well. Just coming back, I wanted to go back to Virgin Galactic. It tried to make a bit of a bounce here. Not much. Look, the pre-market lows were down around 1085. So if I can't get the prices I like, I'm going to, again, support turn into resistance, start shorting in front of 85. Out in the back of my mind, there's that 95 level as well. So I kind of feel like it ain't wrong till it breaks 95, and 95 ain't close enough to an even. So I might be shorting this thing into $11. It's a little bit further away than I would have loved, but when you look at that daily chart, like I said, the gap to be filled to the downside on Virgin Galactic does get you to $9. So just because it's down 14% doesn't mean it couldn't go further. Again, I won't get out of it if it breaks 11 even. That's not to say that I would average into it forever, but I think there is that potential. It doesn't happen today. It certainly happen in the next couple of weeks. I just took my first entry there. DWAC just bounced off of 68. I was looking to hold through, so maybe I got a little bit greedy with it. That one's going to try to retest the top end of the range you're seeing. It did go about $1.50 in the money, but I kind of thought we could really get a big winner. Kind of the way that AVGI was sort of falling off the cliff. Looked like DWAC was going to do the same. Now it's going to break the top. So to try to hit the home run, sometimes it's going to do that to you there. But I don't mind it. I felt the opportunity was easily $2 or $3 worth, and I didn't want to sell it short.
Yeah, good calls on a couple of those plays. And yeah, it's nice to look at DWAC, and again, we're the station for you guys, trading everything. Hopefully that's interesting today, including Snapchat. What a good win this was, man. We're short at 41.40 here, and this is now just tank city. Let's see if we can take out some of these bottoms. A big time win here for Snapchat. 70 cents in the money, 80 cents in the money on DAL, and then Nicola putting me to sleep here. But we're going to try to take another bid down here somewhere for Nicola, and then see what happens around this 1050 area. But right now, Nicola, boo, not doing anything, but everything else is rocking. Wow, rocking and rolling to say the least down here as Snapchat continues to move. And then there we go. We get a little bit of a forward break here on the day's high. Takes out that level. We should have been into it down here though. Right now, Ford trying to go. We'll see if it makes a march to $25. What's up, Brendo?
AMC, guys, for all you AMC fans out there, looks like CEO Adam Aron selling more shares, according to a tweet here. Still owns 2.3 million, but saying he's selling more shares at about 25 million, I should say, worth of. So AMC not really doing much, but there was a bounce there off the bottom of yesterday's one.
It was the same old line. But there was planned sales. It was blah, blah, blah. It was estate planning. The prudent thing for me to do is diversify. Look, man, like just, if you're going to pander, well, I shouldn't say that. If you're going to appease the shareholders and talk about how you're all in and do promotions around retail, answer the questions and be all in for them, I think you got to have a better answer to that question. But that's just me. I don't know that, and I'll go. I wanted to talk AMAT for a quick second here because TSM's gotten away, but AMAT's in a bit of a channel, getting close to that daily. But this did the similar move to DWAC. DWAC just flushed, gave you a win on the short, and then came right back to stop you out. Well, the same thing would have happened if you shorted AMC here just now. And if you look at the tight consolidation on AMC, it's getting pretty interesting. I think if it takes out 23, it's not a bad risk to reward. The tighter these clusters get, the better it is, or the better risk to reward the breakouts become, because it's pretty clean or a lot easier to structure your trade. So I think AMC is setting up for potential
DLPN.
break, but it needs to start holding some higher lows in front of that pre-market low. And then what I was about to talk about with TSM already gonzo was AMAT here. It just, let me zoom out. Just broke out through its 165 top. So that just took out 165. If it can hold 165, this could be a runner.
Okay, guys, Nicola right now, I guess all it takes is a little trash talk there, and Nicola starts to move to the upside. So here it goes. Let's go. Nicola, nicely in the money now, 20 cents on the upside for NKLA here. Nice little run there for that name. And we're into NEO as well, quickly into 40s, out 50s, 55 now, starting to make a move to the upside. So things are rocking and rolling right now. We've got Ford. Look at this Ford trade, guys. Bang! Yeah, not really. We'll see if it can continue to go to the upside. Hopefully that does make some moves. There's Snapchat coming down. We should have put a bid here in the 60s. We'll do that again if we can, but that's a level that we're looking at right there for that. So that's a little bit of an area of concern. Not huge, but we'll check out Snapchat. Here if it comes back down now, maybe we'll just take a bid. Where is my bid on Snapchat right now? Oh, it is at 60 even. So you know what? Let's cancel that here. And actually, no, we're at 63. So hopefully it comes down and fills us there. there at 63 for Snapchat to give us that 80-cent win now on this name to go with our dollar win on Delta, as that's taking out new highs right now. And then Neo just trying to fade back in a little bit here. So I don't know, maybe Neo's not the right one. We'll find an out for us on that if we can. And there it goes, man. We did, oh no, we missed that bid on Snapchat. Okay, let's take a little piece out now. Maybe 60s is too low.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and ring some registers here. Oh, okay, I'm hitting the ring to register for a couple of other names, but I'm on the bid here with Virgin Galactic. It did curl over at about 1075. I was in front of it at 68 and just trying to get some out at that 50 level. I did get into AMAT right around that VWAP price. Just want to see if it can continue that breakout through its 52-week high. And then I'm in the Snapchat, but you just covered that, Sean, so I will go back over to BTCS. That's your... I actually forgot to mention, this was the company, I think it was last week, they were looking to pay their dividend in Bitcoin, right? So that's who they are. They have been in play. It's about to take out the low. Okay, it might take out the low of the day here, but the last time it got down and broke 750, it actually bounced a little bit. I just tried to bid some shares out. I should have done so on the north side of 750. So if it's going to try to face out here again, I'm going to take another leg out and then see if it can't break the low. Don't want to look those gift portions in the mouth and always want to listen to a name Brennan Mesa.
There was a note this morning, guys, from China on the NFT space and cryptocurrencies in general, but they're going to create their own essential marketplace for NFTs. So some of these NFT-related names, HYV up 5% here on decent volume. Our friends over at Liquid Media as well, YVR up 23% on huge volume as well. So some of the NFT-related space starting to catch a
Oh, good. Because I'm in a lot of those coins there. Matic is a good one as well. TKAT Hub just opened, so we can check out that. Yeah, shout out to you, Jake Brand. Thank you for that as well. Is that an Amex name? Yes, it is. So here it is. Up to 440 right now. Come on, chart load. Yeah, this is a good one to come, I believe, on some NFT news, as Brendan just mentioned there. So a nice little move to the upside there off that halt. But again, if you took the halt on the reopen, it was a loser. So I think we reopened about 435 or so. So you're about flat on that one, but definitely something to watch. As TKAT, we've already seen this one move before, and it no surprise here that it's right back on its bottoms, but that's a good sign for us, right? So we'll see. 450 taking that out. TKAT could be a good little runner here, especially if we take out this high of what is that, 450, 460 there, something like that. So let's punch this long through 450.
So someone just asked, Michael Travis, thoughts on a space long for a swing? It's 9:51. They're down 15%, and Virgin Orbit is supposed to have their launch today. So there's 0% chance we want to make that determination right now. That's just like maybe there's something we see later on in the day that might give the idea that could be true. But you're not trying to make that determination right now. It's way too much momentum to the downside. There's way too much happening. It hasn't even settled down after the opening rush. I just got first leg out on AMAT. Was able to buy the dip. Now think about that dip on AMAT. That's that 165 back here on the daily chart. So it's not random. It's the previous top on applied materials, and then takes them out in front of the high in case it doesn't break. And if we get a breakout, then we can get a little bit of this semi-love that's going, semiconductor love that's going on because of TSM.
Okay, guys. Like honestly, I don't even know. Like this, we want to have Valeria back, but we are just on fire today. Delta, $1.20 in the money, off sticky note. Ford, holla, big time move up on Ford there. We take that pre-market breakdown we talked about. Just wish we would have got in there. Look at Ford, bump, bump, bump. What goes bump in the night? Bang for Ford right now, because there we go. Breaks through 25. So there goes Ford right now in a big time movement. I mean, what are we on right now today? Ford, 30 cents in the money. Delta, hello, taking out the day. Look at this. Bottom wick on Delta. Find someone else that has that. Hopefully you do. There goes Delta up to the upside. A nice little breaker right there. Neo, hello, big time move. Like look at these stocks. These are all the ones I'm in. And what about Nikola? Boom, that to the upside as well. Everything working. And then we forgot about one that I'm most proud of, Snapchat, as we got it 2 reloads up here. And this is back down below 40. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5 to start today. And 8 small wins, boys and girls. These are nice ones for me. So hopefully you're in this with us and enjoying some of these moves to the upside. And hopefully most importantly, hopefully you're having a good time.
Yeah, hopefully. And look, it's also about learning something too. You don't have to have the exact trade. Sometimes it's about just understanding the methodology behind it, why you like a certain setup, and then you can always adapt that towards your own trading, because that's what it's all about. That TKAT, so far, I mean, I know it halted to the upside, opened back up, rejected it before, really rejected 450 if you're watching closely, and then it's back to this halt price at 410. Anytime you hold that kind of a level, it can be another gear up to the upside. I gotta go and check to see if I can't pay for shorts, because I just realized that we do not have them. I finally got my fill in Virgin Galactic, trying to catch a little bit out in front of that 1050 level, and you're now sort of seeing it's sort of like, if you look at this, it's really just making a bit of a wedge to the downside. So I do want to hold through this low. Like, I don't want to take any more out in front of 1040. I want it breaking 1040 and then thinking about the quarters and then even to that downside. So maybe it's getting greedy, but I never got a second or third entry back into this. So I actually wanted more shares, but they need to be closer to that 1085, 95 up at the top there. Virgin down 15%, right? It's just, this was, you know what, to be honest with you, I should have had that 95 I was talking about. When it reclaimed the level where that iceberg was, that should have been obvious short. I shouldn't have been waiting for it to pop. I should have just hit that level. That's the point of seeing a barcode like this. When it reverses through it, it should have been rather obvious. I know I'm kind of complaining about it on a good day, but that's pretty much what I usually do.
Good, man. Good. Evil E, what's up, buddy? Having a blast with us all. Great, great, great. What's up, Niagara Charlie? We will look at AMC again. So good. Thank you for everybody here. All the nice comments on all these trades. Yeah, let's effing go Ford. F Ford upside. Big time move for Ford today. Up 3%, and we've got it, man. We got this one right there on that day's break high. Everything rocking and rolling. Delta as well, man. Up to 42. It's hitting that 42 mark, which has been key. We talked about 42 before. As it was been a high on the 20-minute chart. We'll go to Brandon in a second. Just want to show this. There's Delta right there, 42 bucks. So we're trying to watch out for that. That might be a spot where we want to get out of this trade, because again, we're $1.50 in the money on this bad boy right now. So that's working for us. And there goes Ford again, taking out new highs again on Ford. So wow, what a name this has been for me. What's up, Brendo?
A lot of love for the fintech space right across the board. Our friend Dave, back to life here today, from $5 all the way up to $6.50. Just checking, don't see anything initially, but big sell volume came in at the top there, guys, for Dave.
It was a good movie where, I think it's called Dave, where the President of the United States. Anyway, you know what, it'll come to me, but I'm usually a pretty good movie buff. That's the first thing that came to my mind there. Probably not for me, that SPAC, and probably going to be ignoring it unless I see like halts or crazy moves. And again, this is a day where there's so much happening right now that you want to be able to look around and then sort of stick to your guns. I'm already in enough symbols that I want to manage them. There's a few things that I didn't get into that I want to watch. I wanted to buy going on a dip. I have to cancel this bid now. You've already put in a low at 220. I wanted 219 in front of the 18 support, but it's put in a higher low and is stretching towards the high. If it were to fail this and break the low of the day, that would not be a sound entry point anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that order. Now what you're looking for on Boeing is the question of whether it can break that 225. And you look at it, 15 looks pretty good. This is your 200 period moving average right at 225 as well. I think that's why it's running into some resistance. So a nice consolidation, maybe later in the morning, we'll be talking breakout on Boeing. I just missed the dip by a little bit. It's going to happen. You pick a level, sometimes it doesn't fully extend into that price level. And then just coming right back over to, you're already in Snapchat, but coming back over to DWAC. This is the one that I got out of. It's now breaking through the high. Now up here, I liked it when it broke down. I'm going to be close to flat. It's a small win on the stock because we were able to take some profit out, but I don't consider it flat. Now that it's broken the top, 75 and 77, we're right back to the well with the prices that we're looking at when it was holding about 70 even. Those are the key ones. It's the only place I'm willing to short it on the way up. 75 and 77. Everyone keeps saying it's going back to 100. Well, the way it's been trading, it hasn't halted in a while. So usually there's day trades in either direction for you, but you have to be taking your profit because it no longer just runs $5, $10 without stopping.
All right. Yeah, so you mentioned Snapchat that I'm in. I think you're in this as well. And we just, I don't know. It's not tanking the way we thought it would. I mean, it's a nice move down. It's a nice tank. We're short. We're in the money 50 cents here, but 70 cents, sorry. And I'm just going to wait for it to take out the bottom. So I'm not going to do anything with Snapchat here. And then right now we just did take out that 42. So the diamond hands are in the building here today on DAL. Can't be happier with this trade. We're always going to take this out for 40 cents when it spikes up like that in the first minute. And then we're long at 40.50. 50, right? So that's the 70 cents right there. The 41.20, that's the 30 cents, that's the 70 cents, and right now we're just battling around 42 bucks. But again, you know what? I don't know. Like I was thinking about if it breaks back down below 42, that might be the call to get out. But it's doing that right now, so I don't know. A little bit of a breaker right there. We could see maybe if it comes back to 41.75-ish, which is this top right there, we could get out if that breaks. But again, I don't know. I feel like we have this, and it just something's going to have to happen for this to come back down. And I can't figure out what that might be as it continues to work for us upside. Let's hold on to our winners and then get out of something that might be a little sketchy. It's been a good win for us, man. We're in the money, obviously, and we've made a decent pull here on NEO as we took this through 31.44. But as you can see, our last fill was here at 66, I believe. 67 there, and now you're back. Well, I guess it's okay. It's only down to 57. So NEO right now, but it's starting to break a little bit lower. I might just get out of this name. It's not reacting properly. If the Nasdaq does fall, we're long on so many other names here, and NEO just, China Auto. I'd rather be long Ford, long Nikola than long NEO right now. So we'll take a piece out. And that's about it. Anything else? I have Lucid on the mind, but I forgot.
Well, someone just asked what Metacom asking in the chat what we thought about Lucid. Yeah, look, Rivian and Lucid kind of fell by the wayside today. You can see there was a heck of a lot of other names moving. But I look at Lucid for one thing, and it's just basically this previous top at 45.50 on the break. Oh, this is another chart where I'm missing half of my day. That sucks. I can still quickly show you where I think the support might be. It's this channel, 44 down to 43.50. So I'm looking for that channel to be the area of support. If it had popped, I think there would have been a fade off of that 47.5 area, but you're not getting it. Yeah, like it's about to fill in. I just filled in one of my trades, but another mystery gap in my chart.
Go over to the big screen now with nope. Okay, we cannot go to the big screen now with Brennan, but it will be happening now. It'll be happening pretty soon, just not right now. So that'll be coming up soon as well. I'm trying to get into some new names, but I'm just kind of massaging the names that we have. Very, very impressed with obviously the Ford move. Very, very impressed today with, many of these moves. But Delta is really the one that I'm like, wowzers on. Let's check out AAL. So Delta just, wow, look at this, man. We are just pushing, man. $1.70 now in the money on Delta. American as well, down to 19. What was the bottom on Delta? On American today, 1865. So a great breakthrough of 19 as well. Go! Delta up to 42.20. Wow. Could not have called this one, but, well, actually we did call it, but could not have called this kind of a move or else we'd be loading up like crazy down there. But what a good move this has been for DAL. But let's go over to Brendo right now at the big screen, because happening now is actually happening now.
10 o'clock, yeah, let's have a look, guys, at North American markets here. Nicely positive right across the board. A bit of a bounce back for the S&P 500. Choppy start overall, but 0.36 there for the Dow. Russell really strong once again today. It's worth mentioning for some of the small caps. The NASDAQ there, 0.2 for the composite, the 100 below it. TSX about the same here in Toronto. In positive territory, so we'll take it. There's NIO. I was wondering what was going to happen when we got back to basically where it started. So a little bit of a rollover once again. For NIO, back to the downside for it, 1% in negative territory. There goes my pen. VORB, the other one we were watching on the Virgin side of things, all because of the flight that's scheduled this afternoon. There was a volume alert that came in as I came up here. Looks like another one there at day highs, guys. Watch 10.5 for VORB. Go check out ShareVision as well. It's happening now, brought to you by ShareVision this week. Go check out thousands of videos and streams on financial analysis and charts, guys, over at sharevision.com. Thanks for that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brendan. Well worth the wait there. It's such an exciting day. He's throwing stuff on the ground. Like Lonely Island. I don't know. That song's in my head, man. I should have never gotten that voice-activated whatever thing that my daughter can just call up any song she wants on a moment's notice. Every time something hits the ground, I think throw it on the ground. ADGI is headed towards, not the ground, but $6 at least. Closed at $5.83. So when we talk about these gap up consolidation fade plays, a lot of times I'll either go like with some kind of mathematical like quarter, 25%, 10%, those types of things, or if it flushes enough, you're thinking about where it closed the day before, which is at $5.83. That's close enough to 6, but the last target might be down at that $6 level. So that one's starting to blow. It's continuing to work out. DWAC, I didn't get filled up there, did I? No, I did not. Yeah, no, I did not. that got to 74.50. I hate when this happens. So I was talking about 75 and 77. It gets to 74.50, and when it's that close to your level and reverses, that's that's kind of like the 75 reverse. You see me cancel my offer there, because if it comes the second time, the 75 might not be valid. So the way that I would play 75 after it's already given you the dollar retracement at 74.5, it would have to be a failed break at 75 even to make me want to short that level. Otherwise, I have to wait out for 77. There is zero reason that you have to force yourself in. Even if I like shorting pop, I'm not forcing my way into fighting the trend on the stock, right? Like, I was able to short it at the bottom and get away with it because we had a tight stop. So it's got to come in with the setup that I like. Otherwise, there's no way I'm touching it. Brendan just talked about Neo. That's going to be a big miss for me. And it's set up almost perfectly, pop and roll, but that's before 9:30, and then I was already involved in half a dozen names when it popped back up and gave you the same fade. So if it comes a third time, maybe we'll be able to get another shot at it. It doesn't look like it's going to be very likely. TKAT has, for now, it broke once this halt price at 410 and snap right back up. So it's consolidating at 410. I think that gives you another shot here that its volume picks up and it's still in this consolidation. You could have a 25 break with a 10 stop. That's not a horrible risk to reward ratio. So TKAT still on my radar. If it gets below 4, it's probably short for the rest of the day. I shouldn't say the rest of the day. It's probably a short that you can hang on to. Doesn't necessarily mean you can hold it with a close.
All right, so we're going to try to take out this 42.30 or so level here on Delta. It just kind of went haywire there all the way to the upside, so we can definitely have a look at that one, possibly getting out of that. We did get out of our Neo, which was a good idea, man. We talked about that as it started to fade through, so we take one piece out there and it breaks 30, and we get out at 30. So again, it's 44 long. Our best out there, 74, a nice profitable trade for us. And then it comes right back in and we get out again at 50. So a nice trade here for Neo. And then what about Snapchat, guys? Like, let's go, Snapchat. Like, this has been a major, major win for me today, all the way to the downside. And again, we talked about that. We just put up something pretty fun too. If you wanted to check this out, if you have Instagram, this is a pretty fun reel that we just posted up there. So check it out. I'll put it on the chat right now. If you have, a lot of you don't have Twitter, but go to my Instagram, and it's actually at, I should put my Instagram account here as well, but it's at Trader TV Sean the same way. Go check this out. It's in the chat there. It's a fun reel there on Instagram. And we have some other fun things as well on Instagram, including a clip with Kevin O'Leary that, you got to sort of push play, I guess, to see it. Here it is. Some fun times there with Kevin. We had him on. And then what's up to my main man right here as well. Lumberjack Nation in the house. And then, of course, celebrating a few different fun hot dog things. Just check it out, guys. If you did what? Oh, yeah. Remember when we had Nick Leeson on? That was fun. You can go check that out as well. So hit up Instagram as well there and check out the reel. Check out what's going on. A lot of you don't have Twitter. And just remember, as a sort of a public service announcement, please do not engage in any of us on chat unless it's us reaching out to you. And you can, definitely hit us up on chat, but make sure it's at Trader TV, Sean, Neil, Brendan, Valeria, everybody like that, because that's what's good and that's where we're at. So definitely have that check out as well. And there we go, Delta. Let's throw that cash around. We empty out the pockets on Delta as that comes right back up. I mean, maybe I should have held this. I don't know. I think 5% is pretty good on this name. We take that out at 42.30 off of a 40.50. So that's $2 right there. Let's call it, well, it's 180. 180 right there on Delta to close out the trade. Oh, yeah, and how's Nikola doing right now? Boom on Nikola to the upside, man. We talked about this name. Look at Nikola. Nikola booming like crazy now. We're long at 1086. You want to talk about why you need to be following us on Twitter, on Facebook, or not Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere? Check out some of these calls that we have on here today. Delta, how about that? Take that long. Taiwan Semi, take the 139 break. Neo, upgrade, take the long 30.50. That doesn't happen. We take longer 31.50. Snapchat, short that. And how about Nikola? Take the 11 long, guys. Take it back to 10. If you did that, you're laughing right now because Nikola extending up to 1140. Your boy's going to get out. This is the kind of damage that we're doing daily here. I don't remember the last time we actually have like a significant loser. There's Nikola. Well, yeah, I mean, not on a day, but on an individual stock. There we go, Nikola, back up to the upside. Booming again. Nikola, let's go.
Yeah, I saw a good question in the chat, and look, I understand we have lots of viewers here, and we always talk about this. There are different, you get at different experience levels. Some have been trading a while. I've said it before. I got a good question. We say terms like barcoding all the time. if we say barcoding, it's not just sideways action. It is literally stuck in a very, very tight defined range. You can call it something like what was going on in the pre-market in Virgin Galactic. So here, throw that out, fair enough. That's all we mean by that. And certainly you can always ask us any question, guys. We don't mind. We'll try to get through it as fast as we can, whether you want to tweet at us or throw it into the chat. Virgin Galactic has held support. I'm still looking to hold through that bottom, guys. But the chip makers started to turn around. As they turn around, I got out of that AMAT. It was a breakout play. I do not hold breakouts. I don't want to hold them too far against me. And what I mean by the chip makers sort of pulling back is AMAT. This broke 139 back through its support off the opening range. When that happened, NVIDIA went down as well. AMAT also broke its support level. So I'm going to cover in that situation and look for a better re-entry point and send you guys to Brendan.
Some of the Chinese names, guys, back to the downside. JD.com, I want to mention quickly here, 4%. Their CEO and chairman selling 10 million shares. That caused this gap to the downside, but through 74 there was huge volume. But I mean, we're talking about how strong it was for the past couple of days, but not so much. Back to the downside for JD.com.
Yeah, I'm maybe checking out Alibaba. Maybe here might be something as well to have a quick look at. So, man, we did empty out of that Nikola rate now at that price. So, a good little level there, 11.30. We took that out. And then JD. Okay, let's look at some of these names. Let's look at Baba here quickly for you guys for your entertainment purposes. 132. So Baba does fall down. Wasn't Baba 137? Yeah, it was 137 yesterday. Nicely moved upside yesterday. Obviously, we see some big accelerations up to 139 right off the open yesterday. And today it's almost the complete opposite. It's a beautiful move to the downside if you're able to catch any of that 135 break downside. You're seeing names like Neo struggle, so on and so forth. So no surprise here that Baba is as well struggling. What just happened to Ford there? Yeah, sorry, Ford went to the back end. So what was that? The market just reversed. Oh, okay, yeah. So right now, yeah, watch out. So Delta probably going to turn out to be a good out, maybe. Do you have any big shorts on? The only thing I have is Snapchat.
It's just like, I almost said the garbage. Okay, it's a small cap, right? Like basically, I'm in all small cap shorts because I missed out on NIO. The only thing I did was cover the AMAT. And if you see us on our chart setup, I was watching the AMD a little bit there, happy to notice that roll over, and then adjusted my stop on AMAT to make sure that we got out. Another one moving here, BTCS, which gave a good flush off the open. Nowhere near as good as like 80 GI, but it's held support at 750, just broke back up towards VWAP. So if we're going to take this, every time it approaches that 820 level, I'm going to stick to the plan, right? So I shorted again up here at just above 8, but the longer it holds this, the more likely it will break them. You've got to watch out. It's a very popular name and when you're going against the grain. And I know it's downward trending right now, but quickly show you what it's been doing on the breakout. The stock has been on one since about 4. That's a, yeah, well, a $4 to $5 area break. It did get to about $10, and that's the reversal here. I like it when you have a break that's that clean, like 5 to 10, then reverses, a good consolidation, but it's trying to gear up. If it cannot get through this 750, which is yesterday's high, eventually it could make another run at the top. I'm going to go to the well as long as it works, but believe me, I'm not going to be fighting this thing. If it breaks back above 830, I am out of the
All right, ready to get some notes here. Okay, yeah, still looking for some more names here. Like NVIDIA's negative on the day, which obviously with the NASDAQ starting to move down there, we have to look for some shorts. If you just missed it, our last out there on Ford was right here, 25.15. And again, the reason why we took out that, I don't know, we missed the high side there. I feel bad like we could out a little bit higher there on Ford, but again, just some bouncing off levels there. I put it at 15. I want to reload it a little bit lower. Sorry, Ford over there. Ford was a fantastic stock today for us. It's been a big one, so we're really happy with the way that's moved. But now let's try to find out what's going on with some of these banks. So Morgan Stanley, again, a lot of the reporting starting tomorrow. Was it Wells Fargo tomorrow? We'll get that
2 or 3 tomorrow.
There's a lot of them. Yeah, I'm not sure. Tomorrow. I think it's always, isn't it always BAC that sort of starts it off? It might even be the big dog here, JP Morgan. Might be the one. Well, we didn't even have an earnings report yesterday.
Well, so keep in mind, like, Miss B's back tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Like, you guys don't know the half of everything that she does for us on the show, right? So, when it's going over earnings, for sure, putting that board together. Like, we are very fortunate. Like, the reason why Sean and I are trading multiple symbols, it seems like we're bringing news and at the key level. Because we have Brendan bringing us, we have a lot of support around here. Even Trader Pratt, when he notices something, or Greg managing the floor, will be helping us out. That's what we're sort of providing to you. So like, I don't want you guys to think that we're sort of doing this all alone. So when we miss out on like, oh, what's earnings? Sometimes it's because we don't have it. And speak of the devil, or speak of the devil, Brendan, I'm sure is about to tell us.
I was just noticing Jinko Solar on a volume scanner there, but really not much to see. I guess it was breaking back to the downside through 48. They got approved for a Shanghai listing as well, guys, for JKS.
Shanghai listing?
Who did?
Jinko Solar, JKS.
Oh.
That's the name we haven't heard in a while. Oh my goodness, right off the... Like how perfect is this top here on Jinko Solar? $50, 50 period moving average, and then you have a gap and spike at 9:30 into $50 and then a fade. So yeah, look, we talk about setups and you have to find your lane, right? Like one of the things that I sort of figured out when I'm looking back at last year was that there's no stretch of the imagination. The best trade that I'm able to put, that I usually put on, is when we get that pop into a known resistance level, and when it fails, and then you're able to catch that short. And one of the reasons why is binary. The risk reward is usually pretty clean so long as you don't chase it too far. So when I see one of them, now Jinko Solar wasn't on the radar. If it was, certainly I probably would have been in this trade. But when you see these, you want to make sure you're taking rate plus setups. Like one of the worst things you can do as a trader, outside of breaking your rules, is to not get your best setups. That's why you see us doing the same types of things on symbols that are in play that day, and then trying to make those work. So Jinko, another good one, brought to you by Brendan. BTCS, so that just came back. This is now the third time it's made this charge. So the first time we got it in the consolidation, it popped at 9:30. It's come now again just after 10 o'clock. So each time it does this, if it does a tighter range, I gotta start thinking about taking it out. Like I said, this one could definitely break. So I'm not waiting for all the way down to 750. I'm making sure that now I want to start to grab 20 cents. I'll take some more shares if I get 30 to 35 cents. And there's no loading up as it starts to gear up, because if it takes us out at about 840 or so, decent chance that you could be on another breakout for BTCS. You want to make sure you're taking your profit when you're in one of these names that can be an absolute runner. Virgin Galactic, by the way, is seemingly holding a bit of a bid here. What is barcoding? This is now starting to barcode. The longer it happens, the less likely I am to want to hold through 1075 and just go right back to what the original plan was, with me shorting it above that $11. So I guess it's catching a bid. It's down 14%, so sometimes that happens. I mean, if it's gone down too far, you run out of sellers.
All right, AMD 138. Yeah, Virgin Galactic, another name that was on our mind here today. I'm just going to hold this Snapchat, guys. I mean, I don't really have a target for that. It's $1.15 now in the money, and of course off the sticky note, a good little level there to take off of that 31. We were short 41.40. That was great. We can talk about that in a minute, though. Okay, so AMD, just looking at this level right here, 138.60. We've already been as high as 141 today, as obviously the market started to crack lower here. So I don't know if we want to go long on AMD, but we're looking for maybe finding out some bottoms down here. I mean, we have a long way to go before we get to any real significant bottom, but there is, some consolidation that happened yesterday in and around here, like one. I mean, those wicks pretty dirty down to 135, down to 136. But you do get consolidation right into where we're running into, 137 low. So I think this is worth a shot here, 137 low on AMD. This is where we were involved in it yesterday at this level. We were able to take some good profit. I remember that at the end of the day, we ripped it to the high side there, but it was struggling in and around 137. So let's look at that, take advantage of what we saw yesterday and put some bids down here on AMD to the low side. So that's something that we can look at. And again, man, we tried to short DraftKings yesterday and we missed it off that 28, and today it's getting pumped again. Let's check Teladoc. Teladoc was a sell that we did at $87 and told you that we were switching out of this name. Let's see where Teladoc is right now. Put that down to 79. So that's a strong spike right there as we put that out and we said, you know what, let's get out of some of these high valuation names and rotate into a name that we feel is probably fairly valued. with, well, I mean, who knows what's fair value right now, but with a lot of upside. Now we went into Eli Lilly. So basically that trade's going to be flat for me on Eli Lilly. Yesterday ripped all the way to 257, which was fantastic. We're in at about 250, 150, I believe. And so again, we save about 12% on T-Doc and make that money plus now on Eli Lilly. So that was a good, like to save 12% in 2 days is pretty good there. So I'm happy with getting out of that name, but a lot of other names continue to fall. Square down today. Ford.
Lots coming down.
Yeah, lots of stuff coming down here. Look at that Ford call that we had. Randy's not here today, Neil. That's why I wasn't ringing the bell. But because I just said Ford and I didn't hear anything in the background. But we got out, remember, at 25. Now, unfortunately, you know, I typed in NF there, and now Ford, my chart won't even think about changing. But we did get out at 25.15 there. Looks like that's going to be a right call. And then just quickly here on Delta, as oh yeah, this chart now I guess is done. We got out this one at 42.30, so that might be a good call as well. I have to read the details.
Yeah, there you go. And as promised, we would update what's going on with TPG, of course, going to be coming to market today. Indicated open price around here, 31.66. It's really early on. Look, it's only 10 o'clock, so you're going to see this move around. That would be towards the upper bound of what, 29.50 is where it came out, but the upward bound of the range they were looking to IPO, I think 31.50 was the top end. So just above that top end. So far positive, not a lot of open interest just yet. So I don't think we're anywhere close to opening up on that stock. We'll probably be waiting a while for it. I chuckle as I say that, but like we've seen
SDC.
at what, like 1 o'clock? Like when do we even get rid of it? Like, it's just sometimes that you have to wait a long time. Hopefully we'll get it at a good time here. I am now out of ADGI, as you can see. Yesterday's close 583. It just got down here and bounced at 586. So I'm out at 587. We'll conclude that trade. BTCS not nearly as good. And Virgin Galactic, you know, I think that could be a case of me getting a little bit greedy with the stock that's been down too far. So as I said, adjustment plan is at Barco's here. I'm going to stop out at 75 if it breaks VWAP and then not try to do anything until it makes it top a little bit higher up. Speaking of small caps, it's 10:20. Time for the small cap recap with Brennan.
Hey guys, yeah, a bit of a quiet morning so far in small cap world, but we'll talk about a couple of the ones Neil was mentioning there. BTC has still significantly up on the day, but these levels, you know, came into play in the pre-market and then they kind of gave up on those. So that's what I was looking at up here, 9 and then 9.50. The initial move back through 9 happened in a way with so much volume, so much aggressiveness, it actually got me long initially, and then they stuffed it back below 880. So I flipped it short, got out down there 720. I mean, I need a move higher to retest those areas to get back involved with BTCS, but starting to run out of gas. It feels like volume not that great. Yeah, left a little bit on the table on this one myself. Anyways, back into the range from yesterday here around 580. 7 and 720 was the high of day. I was going to short this thing all the way through to the high of day. Give you a nice move back down to 625, which was pre-market levels from yesterday for ADGI. Back over to you.
Yeah, we're just sort of talking about like some names that like the market's starting to crack to the downside. We're now down to almost a 0.25% on the Nasdaq, and we're saying like there was so much like Rivian rolled over at 87, and yeah, we probably both paid for shorts on Rivian and Lucid. Just be prepared. You don't have to use them to pay for them. And I was complaining the other day about Uber, how on the up day it basically did nothing. On the down day it's up 1%. So I can't be complaining anymore. If it wants to go sideways when the market rolls over, I suppose that's a bit of a good thing. Even TSM starting to come back in. Now remember, 42 was that previous high. So if it's going to have a level of support, you need it to be down there. Okay, I'll blink. I'll look at Dave. If you guys are going to talk about Dave because it's halted.
Don't talk about Dave like that. Behind his back.
Halted down on this thing?
Probably. I mean, when that thing
halted
was
up? What?
I think it was at $9 or whatever it was. You were like, no, thank you.
All right, so you guys know SPAC pricing, right? So I like even dollars. 10 is usually the magic number for a SPAC. And then usually like 9 and 11 in either direction can be good levels for you. Then after that, you have to kind of play off of them. But look at this 9 level. We talked about it the first time it was up here. Double top at about 925. So if this reopens, I'm going to go paper short. If this reopens and tests this 925, look how good that double top is, Brenda.
Just remember on that, guys, this has D-SPAC, so this is the actual stock now, formerly BTC Impact Acquisition Holdings. So That was the actual SPAC, and it's actually a decent size, 322 million on the free float, about 2 billion for Brent Gage.
Yeah, if you own the stock, you ain't no friend of yours, but we'll see what happens here with Dave. I'm going to get a snapshot that breaks above 40.50. I mean, we've already held this one and we're $1 in the money now. It does go as low as 40.20 or so, but again, on this NASDAQ push, we want to be able to capture profit, which we've done. I mean, our last day was at 43, so, happy with this name. Already taking the multiple trades on this good name here. But again, just worried that the NASDAQ maybe pops back up here, so we want to get out at 40.50. I'm just trading off the 50s, and I don't even have any bids in case it does crack down. And I mean, it's crazy because I only paid for short on 2 names today, Rivian and that would have been good. I mean, why was I loving Rivian yesterday? I was looking at my notes yesterday. We had Rivian written down here as the short yesterday, 87.50 on our sticky note yesterday. Rivian opens up. We should have the short. Like if I like the short, we could have had that 87.50 right there. So I mean, it's giving us that high. This is where we killed Rivian. He did absolutely amazing yesterday. Which brings me to a shout out to where was it? It was someone wrote here, day trader, pro day trader here. Thank you so much because where was it? Somewhere here, there it is. The new strategy is working, and I talked about that. You got to sort of change up the way that you trade, and it is working. Way more discipline. I see you as well. Thank you so much for that. And that's why yesterday, when we talked about shorting 87, we waited as a sniper on Rivian and hit this trade. And you guys saw that. Rivian was one of my better trades yesterday all day, and we actually sniped it up here as well. The downside took $2 or $3 when we had to wait for it. Went up to 88, then hit it again there, and brought that to the downside. And so today, should have hit Rivian. That was pretty easy on the short. Feel upset about that one. And I'm upset as well about Lucid because I'm looking at my notes again. And this is why I keep them from yesterday, but I shouldn't say that. I did not reference them in the morning. We had to short 46 yesterday on Lucid. So that one, boom, we would have had to hold it 25 cents against us. Come on, man, I held this one $1 against me. So Lucid would have worked on the short side, but it's picking up some steam here off of these bottoms that were made yesterday, 44. So watch out for this bottom at 44. We may have just made it here on Lucid.
So I'll get to 3 things here. I'll get to Lamb in a quick second. I think it was, I didn't see who asked the question. I saw the one on Lamb, but I'm going to get to the halt on Dave. The reason I know the price, we get that piped in our data feed from the New York and the NASDAQ, and we'll get that information in their feed. So it's in our system. But the halt page is where you can get an indication of what it is. In this case, it is a volatility halt, so it's opening in 5 or 10 minutes. A lot of times it'll populate a trade resumption time. That's NASDAQ trader, and then you trade halt is the search you want to be able to do. That's why we're able to take those. I want to get to BTCS because, look, I said I would stop out. I went 3 times to the well. I was given a stop and broke the high. Sometimes you got to make the top wick and come right back down, so maybe this short is still valid. I'll have to see if it retests that 840 level once again. But BTCS, you've seen it now come out. And then LRCX, you probably have guessed I prefer, look, ASML is great in the semi-equipment space. I prefer AMAT, that's what I have to know, but Lamb is definitely another good name. Like, there's nothing wrong with Lamb as well. Maybe some of the price of stocks for most people. Same with ASML. AMAT's a little bit cheaper, but all 3 of them are pretty good. I like AMAT the best. Lamb is in the midst of a bit of a break, but you just saw AMAT try to make a similar breakout here and then put a pullback in, and all these stand to benefit from growth in the chip sector, which TSM is kind of suggesting is still here. And Dave reopens. Well, it never got to that $9. I guess there's still time. I'm not really looking to go long here. This is like chasing it when it's already up 50% from the bottom at 5 even. It's really not the style. If you catch one of these earlier breaks, great. Always take profit on the way up. It makes sense. But I'm looking at that $9 on the 15-minute chart. It hasn't been around that long since it was back. But I'm looking at that 9 level. If you can sustain a breakthrough there, great. Otherwise, maybe there's a little something off of 750 because it's a round number. But it would have to consolidate right here, and I can use 750 as a stop. But back open, and looks like it's headed back to the downside.
Okay, so yeah, downside day. Yeah, no surprise there. Okay, so Lucid does break this 44. We're going to wait on this one. We did. I mean, I don't want to go long, Lucid. You guys have heard sort of the rhetoric that I've had about this with the lockup coming next week. So yesterday, Wednesday, you're going to have a share lockup coming on Lucid. And I believe with this move up and with the uncertainty right now in the EV space, people will sell that lockup. So we'll wait to see if that is true. But right now, it's like the only position that we have on right now, beating up this poor name. We talked about this on the sticky note right now, and that was Snapchat. Just continues to make a move to the downside. They've been absolutely destroyed. I think Cowen today is saying that they're going to get destroyed more on their next earnings report because of those changes that we know about coming through on iOS. It's affecting them, and it's affected them huge on their last report. Cowen coming out and saying same thing again. That we should expect from Snapchat. So as you're seeing this one, I mean, if you only had one trade today, I'd hope it was Snapchat because again, this one is so clean to the downside. It gave us a reload early, and thank God it did that because that allowed us to diamond hands because we got more shares on board there. So when we were, it just gave us that opportunity, man, to like just take it out for profit and able to hold a little bit more. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been such a big trade for us today. Nicola, again, another one that was a monster trade. Look what we wound up getting out. Now we're going to wait to see. We talked about reloading and defending 1080. That's exactly what we did. Now it's coming back down. But look what's changed, man. The NASDAQ has changed. I'm actually going to cancel a lot of my bids that I have out on some of these stocks right now because honestly, the NASDAQ is sort of showing its hand right now, coming back into the red. It bounced again off 16,000 this morning. We got to 15,980 up here and took a downside move. So we have to break back to the upside. Then we start hitting some of these longs. But for right now, the NASDAQ just, trend is your friend. Barcode Nation right now. If it comes back to the upside, we like the long, but we got to find a name, and that's where I went over to AMD. It's just not low enough. It's getting there. Ooh, that's a 40 print. I think I'm at 20. Yeah, so we'll see if AMD can come to the downside. Then if we get this NASDAQ pop that I'm thinking, we'll be able to run AMD back up to the upside. So maybe we'll change our stop on Snapchat. We did have a good at 50, but so far it's been working. So let's hold to ourselves here on that Snapchat trade. So we'll hold to this short and see if it's going to print out for us.
Yeah, and I saw people talking about Tesla. It's starting to, obviously, you see the market rolling over and we're pulling back into Tesla. But let's remember that 1085 level. I know it well because I tried to break out at that price and lost, right? So anytime that's going to happen, if you make a top wick on a lose, it doesn't a win or a loss, always think about the significance of that level because a lot of times it'll mean something. And the next day you had a top there, you got a breakout yesterday off of that level, and now we're looking right back into here. I think that 11.15 tops you have right now, 1085 is the bottom end of your channel. If there's going to be a bounce in Tesla, that's the only place I'd be interested in it. Brendo, 10:30.
10:30, guys, coming up in about 15 minutes. Mentioned briefly yesterday, brand new listing here on the Neo Exchange in Toronto. Yeah, Plantable coming through. Dr. Nadia Pinavaya going to tell us a little bit about a very interesting story on the plant-based food side of things. So check out Plantable.
Yeah, it should be an interesting name there. Yeah, we were talking about that, and that reminds me of this call that we made that I didn't take, but at least we made it, man. And that was this right here, this Beyond Meat. So we can put this tweet in here, and I just tweeted out again. I hope you saw this note. Beyond Meat, it was up 7%, still up 6% here. That's Snapchat. We gotta go over to Beyond Meat real quickly to show you guys, and it was just based on this S3 partners here releasing, obviously, public data, but you can find it on FinViz, you can find it anywhere. It's not like it's anything, but record 37% of free float is now short on Beyond Meat. So we put this out, this particular tweet out at 8:55 there, and if you look at the chart, we'll put this back in so you guys can follow on Twitter. Just, if you have a Twitter account, just follow just because. I don't want people to follow the wrong accounts because there's a bunch of and look, it's great, you sort of made it when people are, making up accounts just to mock who you are, and you feel like a mock to take you down. So it's happening to all of us right now. So please be careful. I even have one of our friends there, JT, has messaged me 5 times, 5 different people hitting him up, and he's like, hey, bro, is this you? I'm like, come on, man. I hit him up on WhatsApp. I don't hit him up on Instagram. So I was like, yeah, it's not me. He's like, hey, you want Bitcoin for trading strategies? I'm like, come on, man. Like, we're friends. You can just message me. Anyway.
Although, I mean, JP might fall for that.
JP might fall for that.
I'm not even going
Bitcoin over there. But here's what we're talking about with Beyond Meat. Anyways, as soon as volume picked up, there it was, man. I mean, you could have had this at any of these prices. A lot of volume taking out at 68, 68, 50, 69, and there's the pump up. Like I said, right now it's probably more of a fade than anything because the news is already out and people have already hit this. It's already up 5% on nothing. So let's watch out for Beyond Meat. But again, you know, I'm going to look out for those notes. Tweet them out as much as I can, and I know Brendan tweets out headlines as well. So follow us too for some of those. Neil puts up his trades, so follow all of us, needless to say, on Twitter. And I'm the only one with the Instagram, but we also have the Trader TV Live Instagram account as well. So
I want to. Damien had a couple of questions about level 2 on Dave. All I will say is this: I don't know. I don't know what broker everyone is using here. I can tell you, if you're a day trade the world and you saw a ridiculous quote sort of coming through, I'm still watching TCG. I don't know why the level 2 didn't go. But if you ever see crazy things coming through in your feed, our system allows us to just get rid of bad quotes. So I don't see IEX popping up all over the place. But if you did see something like a bad trend or bad quote, we can get rid of them on day trade the world. If you're at your broker, I would complain to them. That's what they're there for, man. Like, seriously, you can't hesitate to contact your broker when you have issues. That's just the reality. They work for you to certain extent. And you should never be afraid to do that. I'm watching a few names here. We're obviously indicated open now 32 on TPG from last time I checked. I don't think it's close to opening up. CRM like Salesforce here, down a couple of percentage points. When the market rolls over, you got to think about like what you want to get into, like where your shopping list might be. I like this thing a little bit further down into the 2 to 210 range. If it can get there, that's where I want to be picking up. I'm kind of being patient this year because I think this first quarter could have a little bit of rocky road to it. GFS was the first thing that I actually got into, but I was begging to get into that name, and I probably extended a bit too far. If you want to come back over to NIO, which was a name that I missed out on this morning, it's broken the low. It's not quite. I'm trying to be patient because I wanted the pop and fade trade, which worked several times today, but I never got it on Neo. But the only other thing I liked was down here, 30 to 30, 50. And I can't be long at 31 if I think 30 to 30, 50 is my level, right? Like, I needed to travel down to that price. I'm not going to just pick up any bid. I've got to be patient with it. And last year, I'd be trying, if I liked it at 5, I'd be trying it at 31 and stopping out. I probably would have already tried it at 30, 25 and stopped out. And then I'd be trying it again here. I'm just waiting for my price and being patient. No need to overtrade. Although you were talking about AMD, that's at a spicier level. Like, I think you can look at that. But also we should be looking at the NASDAQ. You just saw it break this 15.8. I know 15.85 was a good price yesterday. Look back to this 15.750, about 100 points lower. If that can hold the support, some of these stocks that you like, that are strong names, can possibly find a bit of a bounce.
Yeah, and we're still waiting for that TPG to open up as well. So we took an AMD trade right now, so we'll see where this one wants to go. It just bumped up to 50. We probably should have taken that. So let's put an offer near there. It just went back up there for us nicely to 44. We talked about trying to pick some bottoms here on a few of these names. So we'll try it now. But look what happened to the NASDAQ, though. It did break, right? So we weren't thinking that it was going to break like that violently. I don't know what just hit, but the NASDAQ definitely boomed right there to the downside, so we're gonna have to watch out for that play again. But we are gonna take AMD now long, and then it's just a starter position because really I haven't done too much work to see where we want to get out of this game. So the daily chart's not gonna be anything here, but just trying to find some support. I know we talked about it, but it was more down into like some of these wicks that have been happening here. I use a 20-minute, just gives me a better look. You can use a 15. I know Neil has a 15 up, but you can see right into here. Just trying to find out. So what is that wick bottom? 136.85 or so. So yeah, we'll give it a little bit lower than that, maybe 136.50 to be wrong. But there it goes right back up to the upside. So maybe we can get that out quickly here if it does come. But for right now, look at this name, Snapchat right now breaking lower here as we have this name short today. One of the great ideas there. It just took out 40 and bounced back up. So wow, Snapchat just to the downside. Big time movement there. Come on, AMD. Let's go, man. If the NASDAQ can rally just a little bit more, we'll take our first piece out for 30 cents here on AMD, up near 50 again. So let's go. Come on, AMD. We might have picked the bottom on this one. Good trade, hopefully, here on AMD. What's up, baby?
Yeah, I just saw this NVIDIA accelerating to the downside as well, guys. Day lows, there was a block print alert of about 250,000 apparently. My bad, 150,000 shares of NVIDIA at 275. So if you do the math, around 42 million to the downside here for NVIDIA.
I'm now questioning. We had a great question. One of the reasons I love the community is because, like, when the question came through about Lamb, and of course TSM's strong today, so I was looking at the suppliers. I thought to myself, okay, well, I just flat out said I liked AMAT better, but Lamb's up 5%. AMAT just pulled back. ASML, which I hadn't even watched, and ASML, this is an ADR, by the way. It trades primarily in, is it Germany or Amsterdam? One of the two.
Amsterdam, I think.
Amsterdam. I think it's Amsterdam, right?
I think it's AS.
Yeah, either way, it's in Europe. I think it's Amsterdam. But that pulled all the way back as well. You're seeing the other chip makers start to fall. So Lamb is hella strong today. And I always say this, you cannot ignore relative strength. So that's the first thing I want to be thinking about is why is Lamb holding up? And obviously, some of the equipment makers I think are good for this year, but what a great holdup that Lamb is doing. Even though ASML is up 2%, and I think they're a great company too. It's just, that's a big time pullback. Lamb holding the high end of the range. We talked a little bit about TPG. I don't think we're going to get that open. I'm going to keep updating you on it, but I need to come back over to where are you? It's going to be the banks, and I want to show Morgan Stanley just quickly. So as the market starts to come back in, like you're seeing some of the tech push to the downside. Morgan, the banks holding up a little bit. They have earnings starting to come through tomorrow, and they had a bit of a sell-off yesterday. At least Morgan did, but a bit of stabilization happening there. And then if you go to some other names, I guess, when you talk about the market coming down or tech falling down a little bit, you start to see what are the cyclical names do. Like Caterpillar's up 1% today. Like you just said, the banks doing pretty well. CAT actually is setting up for a bit of a cluster and a breakout. That's why I brought it up specifically. This is near 226 level. Nice little consolidation at the top. It's on a bit of a run. I've already said if it makes this breakout, I should stop saying when. If it makes this breakout at 226, personally, I'm looking to cover some before the top end of the range. So if it makes that break, gets into the 35 to 40, I think trimming some is going to make some sense. It's been on a pretty decent run, and I didn't really take any profit the last time it got up to that 250. I will this time.
Okay, so always got to take some profits. That's what we did, like on Teladoc. I don't even want to look to see. Well, that wasn't profits, but we got out of that position and ran away as fast as we could from that name. Okay, so AMD, good out, man. It ripped up to 50. We took that, then we reloaded down here at 90. So it's not a good one. We'll see where it goes, but so far not so good here on AMD. As though we did take. Look, that was a 20 bid, and we took it out at 48. Like, we already took that 30 cents there, right? So now we're out of the money, as you can see, 30 cents again. So it is on a reload, so we do have more shares down here. We'll see what happens. I'm going to use this 136.50, basically where we just dropped out to. I mean, that's 136.25. Maybe we'll give it a little bit more down there, but you can see what the NASDAQ is doing. No, I'm going to give it a little bit more down to the downside right there. We have this AMD short, the AMD long. We have the other name short there, Snapchat. So I think that could be a name, obviously, that we're going to be looking at to take to the downside. But let's see if AMD will give it a little more room. I'm just noticing this right now, 136.25. That's a level that we'll look at as an area of concern for us. But right now, it's Brendan over there one more time at the big screen with Sector Watch.
Hey guys, a bit of a mixed day so far for the S&P 500. We'll have a look here. Exactly flat. We'll call it 0.08 to the downside. Just to sum it up, really, healthcare and tech, the biggest weak spots so far, with some strength coming from industrial and the consumer sector. Specifically, travel names, the airlines, the cruise lines, the hotels, all back in positive territory. There is a few of the retailers here back to the downside. Etsy lower 3.5%, but Gap right below 3% to the upside, helping to offset that. So back and forth we go. Here's all the airlines right here, as I mentioned. AAL, UAL, Dow, Alaska, all about 3.5% in positive territory. Boeing, we talked about 3.25%, possibly going to get the 737 MAX back in the air over in China, which would be great for them. Healthcare stocks as well. Mostly red, but Biogen, we mentioned in the pre-market there, 5.5%, back to the upside after that big down day yesterday. Moderna here, 4.4%. I showed you NVAX earlier. The vaccine names, though, pretty weak right across the board again today. There's LRCX. Neil was mentioning that, 5.4%. AMAT as well, 2% to the upside, but everything else either flat flat or slightly lower, along with software makers, mostly to the downside. So it is back and forth, as we said. Just wanted to mention far corner here. Dish, 2.6% back lower after that move higher we saw yesterday on the direct TV rumors, and that Lumen, L-U-M-N, 6% negative territory. So communication stocks also lower. We are red, 0.1, guys, for the S&P. Back over to you.
So speaking of red, Nvidia now down 3%, and coming like if you go right back in here to Tuesday, Tuesday, you had this support level down like 268, and this is right where it had a sort of an afternoon breakout the day before. So anytime you have a break turn into support, I like those levels. So I'm trying to be patient here. It's down to 271, and like it'd be an easy thing to just be like, it's Nvidia, man, buy it in here. But this market has reversed rather heavily. So we're going to be looking at 268. And we talk about questions, we talk about things all the time. I said ADR, I put it in the chat. American Depository Receipt. A lot of foreign listed companies, foreign companies that list in the U.S., sometimes you are actually owning the actual shares. In this particular case, ADR is allowing you to trade in and out. Like it's the same equity, the rights will not be the same. So you're not really owning a piece of the company the same way. So that's what I mean by ADR. If you're just day trading, makes no difference. If you're long-term investing and buying it here, then it does make a difference. So make sure you do your research on that. And we're talking about ASML, which is an ADR. So when you buy shares here, you're not actually owning shares of the company the same way you would if you bought it next year.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so that's a good one. But I mean, as far as an investment, like you said, I think. Name and then just chalk it up to us trying and failing on the long. But we already did take a little bit of profit there on AMD, so I kind of feel like the book is still out on this name. Let's see where we go, but we still do have that nice little profit area to the downside there that we are looking at there for AMD. So that's one to look at, and hopefully the market can bounce back up and we'll be able to take that one for a little bit of a winner. But target downside there, and again, you'll hear Neil and I talk about this all the time, right? Our downside targets have to be in place because we're day traders and we have to decide at 4 o'clock. So this is not something where we analyze, deeper dives into say, okay, I'm going to hold this overnight or let's see what it does tomorrow. We have to be flat at the end of every day. So there goes AMD right to the downside as the market just keeps on tracking lower.
Yeah, you heard me like under my breath do a Star Wars first. That was because Tesla 1085 came and broke. So I mean, that was the support level to shoot right to it. I don't think it gave much of a bounce there to long in front, but the reversal gave you a clean $5. It's been a wild morning, but it's also been an educational one. It's definitely going to continue to be one as we send you over to Brendan for our guest of the day.
Hey guys, happy to have a very interesting guest today and a very interesting story. Brand spanking new listing here in Toronto on the NEO Exchange. PLBL is the ticker for Plantable. Dr. Nadia Pinavaya joining us today, founder and CEO of the company, to talk about this really interesting story. Great to see you again, Nadia. Good to have you on the show to talk a little bit about this space specifically, because it's a different approach. I want to make that clear right out of the gate. It's a different approach to the plant-based side of things. Tell them a little bit about the clinical side of this story and how that is going to help in complete lifestyle changes.
Thank you very much, Brendan. It's wonderful to be here. So Plantable is plant-based healthcare. We are a clinically supported dietary intervention platform that brings in plant-based nutrition with personalized coaching with a digital lifestyle platform to make behavior change really easy. We know that what we eat today is impacting our health. It's driving excess weight gain, it's driving disease, it's driving inflammation. What we don't really know is that we're actually addicted to it. And so what Plantable does really well is cure the addiction to the added sugar, the highly processed ingredients, and the refined grains. So we bring immediate results with long-term change.
Let's talk about the clinically supported side, as you say, because I find this very, very interesting, and you're actually involved in a few studies currently in the US on the effectiveness of this diet specifically. Tell them about that.
Yeah, so my background was actually one of science. I have a geeky PhD in quantum chemistry, and I came from finance. So when I actually learned how today's modern diet was driving disease, I put together a program that wanted to address that addiction, as I mentioned. So that mingling of the delivery of plant-based nutrition with the coaching and with the lifestyle tools of support. When I launched the company 2 years ago, because of the science that was driving me, I wanted to actually collect clinical data. And so for the first 2 years, we collected what we call our foundational reboot results of our 28-day program. And we saw 5% reduction in weight. On average, people lose 9 pounds in the first month and then go on to lose 10, 20, 50 pounds. They get to that happy weight because it's about sustained change. They lose 2 inches of belly fat of the waist, and that's really important because that's inflammatory. And then they go on to drop blood sugar, inflammation, and reduce cholesterol. And what that actually means, so within 28 days, we reverse pre-diabetes. We've turned around type 2 diabetes in less than 4 months. And we help take people off, statins. So with that foundational data, we caught the attention of leading medical institutions, including Weill Cornell, Johns Hopkins, and Memorial Sloan Kettering, and we're in randomized clinical trials with them to show the efficacy of Plantable as a dietary intervention in reducing the risk factors that are associated with cancers, including breast cancer and prostate cancer, and that includes weight, inflammatory tissue, gene expression, and then we're looking at the changes in the microbiome and blood sugar, cholesterol, inflammation, blood sugar, all of those metabolic factors that are associated with chronic disease. And those results should start to come through by the end of this year, opening up a wave to a partnership platforms with cancer centers and physicians that are looking for an effective solution to accompany people on their journey of either cancer or chronic disease.
I want to talk a little bit about it's an important conversation, obviously. On the clinical side of things, I want to talk a little bit about that 28-day period because it's a specific time period, and I think there's a lot of people who may run into challenges and struggle in that initial kind of changeover from what they're doing now versus what they should be doing. What are some, I guess, two-part question. What are some of the challenges that you find people run into, or the more common challenges, and how are you able to kind of overcome those in that initial 28 days? And also talk a little bit about that coaching side of things as well, because it's very important to have that kind of ear or voice in your ear helping you along.
Well, you've just nailed it, Brendan. So our differentiator is we've got the science right. So we're bringing together behavioral psychology, the support of the personalized coach that really uses our kind of proprietary methodology of coaching, which is to overcome really the biggest challenge is sugar. So that sugar voice that comes screaming at 10 o'clock at night, or the pretzel voice, we onboard people, we form a relationship with them, we understand their routine, and we give them the tools to overcome that screaming voice, the brain addictive voice, combining it with the actual delivery of nutrient-dense plant-based meals designed to keep your blood sugar low, designed to be delicious, but designed to keep you full. And so when you combine those two, if you are nutritionally satiated from the food and combining it with the support of a coach that's giving you accountability and motivation, that's what drives those immediate results and also sets the stage for long-term gains. So we sit at that intersection of those digital health platforms, the news, the personalized coaching, but we combine it with the actual delivery of initially those plant-based meals, not just for the ease and convenience, but because we understand the biochemistry of the brain and the body, and we're keeping people full. Our results in those first 28 days are similar to someone who goes through a ketogenic diet. So rapid weight loss, the difference is ours is anti-inflammatory, and we're about resetting habits, and so for those long-term results.
I love the statement, using food instead of a pill to create, the end result, because so many people, are looking for that very quick fix and the quick, solution to this problem. I could go on forever, I think, on this topic because it's so interesting to me personally. But talk a little bit about what we can expect from the company going forward.
Yes. So, well, the magic pill is being proven. So we'd all love that magic pill. The problem with the magic pill is it doesn't exist today, and the pill out there that is being used to manage chronic disease often comes with side effects. So the conclusion of those trials will show Plantable's efficacy as a dietary intervention in reducing and reversing chronic disease. So stay tuned for the announcement of those results. We're going to begin to see the results of those clinical trials at the end of the year. Stay tuned for growth, and stay tuned for the augmentation of our digital platform and the launch of a CPG product. Think pasta sauces, think pasta, the condiments, where we're actually going to be teaching people in their own homes. For those people that don't want to have prepared meals delivered to their house, we're giving them the basic building blocks of that plantable lifestyle combined with that digital platform, so that we can continue to get people to their happy weight effortlessly and easily, and optimize health and well-being and make the planet happy at the same time.
A brand new listing, guys, on the NEO exchange, as we mentioned here in Toronto. PLBL is the ticker for Plantable. Dr. Nadia Pinabaya, founder and CEO. An absolute pleasure. I hope we can do this again. Come back and give us an update in the future.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me, Brendan. Take care.
Have a great day. There we go, guys. Plantable, again, PLBL here in Toronto.
I love the discussion. And one of the cool things about that, when you asked about sort of that coaching in your ear, I'll tell you this: look, motivation is good for just about everything. There's PLBL for you there, and sometimes that's what you need. Like, we talk to each other as traders on the floor. That's one of the benefits of the floor when we have people on here. We're talking to you guys. You guys talk to each other. And it's about just for any type of personal growth. It's about learning more. It's about getting motivation, finding motivation. This market, by the way, because I got to get here, we have 5 or 6 minutes to go. So this market has crashed. That level of support on the NASDAQ did get broken. We're almost 1% down on the ES. Just watching 4,700 go. I got 60-minute charts up, so it won't seem like a gigantic move, but this is the entirety of the range the last couple of days here. This 4,700 has held up really nicely. The only thing I'm left short is finally breaking the low on Virgin Galactic, but it's not like it's falling too much further. Oops, that's .NF. .NF is not going to work, Neil.
Nope.
No, it's on the New York Stock Exchange.
That's done. I did that with something else.
I know. What is NF, anyways? Anyway, so Virgin galactic breaking the low of the day, breaking the low at 1050, but the actual low of the day 1040. I'm holding through this. I might even add if it can crack further. I know it's down 15%. But if it's in this channel, forming this wedge, and breaks low as the market's flushing, I might be able to add to this one here and see if it can't get down to that $10 level, starting to crack. Indicated open on TPG is still 32, so that hasn't changed despite the market falling. It doesn't seem like we're going to get this one to open up and trade on our show.
No, there's only 5 minutes to go right now. So we had a couple good outs and a couple bad outs right now. So let's check out Delta. Good out, man. 42.30 all the way down. Saved ourselves $1. But you know what? There's no way I thought Ford would do this. But Ford, congratulations, man. We've been going short on this name, or sorry, long on this name for a very long time. And there it is, man. I'm not going to be switching to a short call like we were switching back and forth with DraftKings. But we took it out there at 25.15 off of that pre-market high break that we talked about. So that was really good trade and really got it going there. AMD, I consider it a decent out because we're down $1 lower right now. But again, defend, and lose. So to me, it was really only 2 reloads, which is fine. I don't want to be, averaging. And normally I would have retried some of these longs, but honestly, with the NASDAQ making this kind of a move, it's not that it's down that much. It's not. It's down not even 1%, which can be hard because there are a lot of names that are getting hit, like Beyond Meat's come back. Remember I said, watch out for that Beyond Meat. Don't get caught into it. Now look where it is. It's right back down to 69. The play was over. Once people saw all that and it just started to go, now the volumes died down, and Beyond Meat, that play could possibly be over. But I would look to see if that short interest keeps on climbing there in Beyond Meat. That's probably an option, friendly play, I would think, moving forward on a call there for Beyond Meat. And then this is what I mean about the market's not really that bad. just depends on the names that you're in. Apple, I think, needs to be bought on any dip, on any sort of a correction back down. I don't think that's, for me, it's not happening until 174. But we did touch down below we hit today's low, 174.30. I don't think that's right, but we just hit it right now, 174.70 there on Apple. So watch out. It is a little bit below, but you can see Apple right now in the 1 minute starting to climb back up. So, hey, I don't think it's that bad, but it's not that great either right now. So watch out. We already know the CPI numbers. We saw PPI today. So, hey, the information's out there. The next step is that March rate hike. What's up, Brendo?
All right, as promised, guys, we'll get into some big names for earnings coming up tomorrow morning before the open. It's all about the banks.
All about the banks. I got nothing for that. We knew it was Wells Fargo, but it was Citigroup and JPM that are the two other ones. But look, we're gonna get the rest of them next week. So it is bank earnings season. Look, the usual course of action for them is it's never good enough. When bank CEOs are optimistic and overly so, and started talking about rosy, that's when you might be a little bit scared. But when they're pessimistic, that's just part of the course they could solve. Before we get to the National Day, we haven't talked Biogen, but I do need to show this because it's on a bit of a run up, 5%. If you look at yesterday, when we talked about the bottom of the channel, the November low at 222, and then the low here, quadruple bottom around 216 in 2019. So you've got two very well established bottoms. You look at those two prices, it gapped down in the aftermarket on the bad news, right to 222. It then held at 216 level, and then now 222 was the bottom of the channel here. So I was trying to short the top end of that range, looking for a break of the low of the day. But by stopping out at that 22, essentially you can win on the short. But then look what happens when it gets back to the top end. It then holds 22 today and breaks out. So when we talk about clusters of support and resistance, it's what we're looking for. And Brendan's got the National Day for the last time, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I have to say I'm not terribly upset about that, but Miss B back beside me tomorrow. Hopefully all goes well, and she can take over as per usual for. Guys, happy National Peach Melba Day.
It looks good.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I don't know.
Too much whipped
I don't know
cream
that much about peach Melba, but I don't know, what is it? Just those, it's like those peaches in that sweet sauce, like that syrup, I guess, is what it is.
That kind of looks like there's ice cream in between and then whipped cream on top. Is that what it is? Is that like peach something?
It's just a dessert. It just looks like it's like, I mean, I look at the one on the right. So you got that peach in the syrup, and then it looks like you got some kind of a whipped cream or ice cream, followed by maybe a strawberry type of thing, followed by more ice cream maybe, and then whipped cream, and then the candied cherry up there.
Yeah, I mean, let's do that. I'll eat it. Let's just leave it at that. I will definitely. I'd eat one of those.
I like peaches.
Peaches and cream.
Yeah, peaches and cream, guys. Yeah. Get that, man. Shout out to Justin Bieber.
I could eat a peach for hours. That's another lyric, but you guys, that's a bit of a dirty song.
All right. I want to say about XLF here, into the earnings. We talked about it already. You know, if you've been on this ETF, I don't think there's anything wrong with pairing some out right now and just letting it go from there. See what happens with bank earnings. I don't think XLF, even if it's a big earning report, man, I just don't really think like this is going to blow up. We still have many other banks coming, so I would just take the risk off right now. I think the danger is to the downside. I feel like, you know, more negativity might come from them as far as, you know, like what we've been talking about, the inflation and then lending rates and whatnot. So I don't know. We'll wait to see. For me, I'm a little bit nervous about the run that's been had, but hey, it's been a good one. So sometimes you don't want to cut bait on winners, right? It's just maybe worth pairing some off. Okay, we're done.
We are. And TPG is going to open up. Brad, you're lucky. I think you're going to get to trade it live on your show. We'll see what happens with the IPO, but it is 11 o'clock. Let's send you on over to Trader Brad.
Do this.
Welcome over to Market Movers. I'm your host, Trader Brad. Beautiful Miss B still sick, but should be back tomorrow, apparently. I didn't know about that, so I can't wait for that. Excited. But can't wait to see you guys all in the chat. Make sure you guys type all the tickers you want me to pull up, all the stocks you want to watch. And let's dive right into it. So a couple stocks that I was trading today was this NVIDIA. I shorted NVIDIA from 280, and I you know, obviously traded it very poorly, didn't hold it at all, and very upset about this trade right now. I tried to go for another long just now, which I stopped out on the down move. I tried to we are back to my first exit on the long from 270. Let's see if we're gonna go past it. Not my first exit, sorry, my last exit on the long from 270. Let's see if we can go past it over here. Looks like market's looking for that little bit of a correction off those 15,740 bottoms on NASDAQ and 4,700 on ES, almost exactly where we bounced off yesterday on the ES. So waiting to see how far do we retrace in the market. Where do these tech stocks go back to, and if there's a point where we can get back on the shorts to the downside, or do we just watch them go sideways for the rest of the day? So we're gonna just leave them alone today a little bit. Hi Brad, hi Eddie, how you doing, brother? Hope you're having a great day along with the rest of the viewers. Hope everyone's killing it out there in the market. MSFT. Let's go check out MSFT. Microsoft Softy today. Ooh, big down move over here on Microsoft when the market's actually going up. So obviously we want to see what happens. My head's probably being cut off because now I'm sitting properly upright. But yeah, we'll see what happens over here. We need this one to keep on ripping, obviously. Find some support somewhere and then be able to come back a little bit, because it is kind of moving too far to the downside while the market's actually finding a way to find support and move north. So you saw Nvidia move north. Nvidia actually getting rejected at 272. Apple's getting ready to go. Sorry, not Apple. Microsoft's getting ready to create a new low a day at the moment, which it's successfully doing so. And where's Apple at? Apple, being the #1 weighted stock in the NASDAQ 100, is actually not doing a whole lot. It's actually flat for the day. Looks like it wants to just be stuck at the 175 bottoms, find support there, not move too much. Kind of somewhere around where we closed at. Also the consolidation / the bottom yesterday. So we'll see where it goes to. Brad looks like a Russian today in the Adidas. Okay, I'll take it. Привет. Привет. I hit a fat Juul vape right before I came to the show, so excuse me if you see me coughing every couple of seconds. I forgot what the time was and I just ran outside for a Juul pod session. Alright. Zanga, Z-Y-N-G. So Zanga, nope, Z on New York. Z-N-G-Y? Z-N-G-Y? No, okay, let's just Zanga. Z-Y-N-G-A. Z-N-G-A, there you go. Z-N-G-A on NASDAQ. Z-N-G-A on NASDAQ. Alright, perfecto. So keep in mind that every time you're trading Zanga, take 2 is the TTWO. You want to make sure you're watching Take 2 Interactive. It's interactive, right? Yeah. Make sure you're watching these guys while you're watching your Zanga move, because Zanga is being acquired for cash and stock. So that means every single move in Take 2 is going to correlate directly with the move in Zanga itself. If you look up the articles, you can find up the news articles online pretty easily, and you'll see how they move and what the correlation is, and you can trade them together without having to get burnt on, because randomly you might see Zanga pop up or pop down and not understand why that happened. And you can now, all you have to do is have Take 2 Interactive up at the same time on a different chart or whatever it is that you used to trade with, and just have fun scalping both of them at the same time, up and down and down and up, baby. DWAC go, DWAC go. Where are we going to? DWAC, DWAC. Let's go check out DWAC. DWAC. Okay, so DWAC got rejected exactly where. Why does my chart over here look a little bit better? Okay, so we'll show you over here on the 5-minute. Look how DWAC got rejected around. I guess it's the same thing, but on my different chart, my other screen looks a little bit better than right now. But anyways, the 73 barrier were the yesterday's high. I think DWAC did go up to, what was the pre-market or after-hour high in DWAC? Let's go to 1 day, go to after hours, and the after-hour high on DWAC was. Pretty sure we got to move. Yeah, there we go. We got to move to 73 or so, which was also the high of the day on close itself. And then DWAC got to move off the open today all the way to, looks like 74.47 where it got rejected from. So we're looking for something similar to that. But you know, obviously, I think DWAC is easily going back to 100. That's what everyone's talking about. That's what everyone's hopes are. So if a lot of people's psychology mindset is just going directly to you know, 100, and they're buying options and calls and all that fancy stuff around that, I think there is a chance we could see the stock pump up there by February 21st, and then on February 21st, it'll be crazy to see if the stock trades above 100, stays above 100, and just goes wild. So DWAC is going to be pretty insane. DWAC was 174 one time before. Oh, trust me, you don't have to tell me that. That was my biggest trade of last year. So DWAC taking that halt opening trade all the way at 175, 174 was a big move over there off that $40 halt price. Obviously, I don't think we're going to see something big like that one more time, but I'm going to have fun for sure watching that stock move all the way up to February 21st. Today, 7.4 million, up 2%, even though the market's down 0.7. Trying to see if DWAC can take out the day's high one more time, but I'm seeing rejection coming in around that $73 price, which makes sense, obviously, because, you know, it's kind of too far of a move already today right off the open. We dipped down, we ripped while the market was kind of not really moving, and then came down with the market when the market really started coming to the downside. ZYNE. ZYNE. Let's go check out ZYNE. Down 2%, 100,000 shares on a $2 stock, so not really doing any volume. So maybe if we get volume, we could talk about it over here. Check out TKAT on Amex, if I believe. Yeah, it is Amex. Hey, I got it right. Okay, TCAT on Amex, 21 million shares. Can I get the L2? Awesome. So 21 million shares, L2 is now visible. What are we looking at? I see some size on 392, 390 over here. Could be why the stock's not going too much further to the downside. Let's see if we can scroll down, see size elsewhere. There's a lot of inverse gateways just sitting there on 380s, but then notice the lack of liquidity, like randomly 10 cents below, you don't see any size there. So, you know, obviously you want to be careful. 21 million shares on a $3 stock is not bad, but it looks like there's not much size to punch out of below 390. So if you are long somewhere above 390, maybe your stop should be on the break of 390, and then maybe get back in later on in the day. That's at least that's what I see right now, because if you do slip, it probably slips much further than that. Pratt is better. Today trade the warrants on DWAC for more shares. Do they move the same? Today trade the warrants on DWAC for more shares. Do they move the same? They indeed will move the same, and one of them will halt and one of them will not halt. So the halter will be obviously be not your warrants. DWAC warrants is W. So DWAC W would be warrants. And these will not halt, whereas your DWAC by itself will halt all over the place in case, you know, they do hit the halt limits on that day. So obviously, if you want to go much more size, in a safer bet, DWAC warrants could be safer, but on volume size, in a safe more itself, because look at, whereas DWAC does today 7.5 million. Today 7.5. DWAC does doing 1. More on. They're only doing 7.5 million shares. So yeah. DWAC has the stock and the warrant. It does indeed. Prad, Adidas shell toss with the Adidas windbreaker. I do have an Adidas windbreaker, but I don't have. Don't really know that warrants were there. I mean, I didn't even know warrants were there for DWAC until that day happened. So, and then I found out that warrants don't halt. I think you guys actually told me that warrants don't halt and so on. So when I figured that out, I was like, okay, maybe this is something, a better trade or easier trade, because people usually get scared of stocks that halt all over the place, right? So that's an idea over there. And CCL short setup. Let's go check out CCL. today with almost 17 million shares traded right now. CCL got a nice move, almost 3% to the upside. Actually, I'm very angry right now myself. I'm very angry. I told myself on the way to work, I was reading the articles. Delta had an earnings report. They also said that they're giving out vouchers for all the canceled tickets from the last year, even for this year, and it will continue all the way to 2023. And how they said American Airlines and blah 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 blah, the other parties have not done it yet, but the chances are they're gonna follow suit with their brother or the sister, whatever you want to relate, sister stocks or brother stocks or whatever, companies. Sorry. So I'm expecting American Airlines and them all to follow suit, and that should give some boost to the overall travel play in general. So I came in with the mindset of going long CCL, RCL, American Airlines, and all of these, and I forgot about it completely. Maybe because I had to stand in line at Tim Hortons for 30 minutes. This Tim Hortons, man, so lazy. They work so
omakase grills and whatnot. So you want to be very careful that when these guys are going to their sushi lunches, that you're not here fighting algorithms. OCGN also a possible great for short squeeze on a very good news yesterday regarding the vaccine. Is OCGN hardly heavily shorted? I didn't know that. OCGN 28%. Okay, it is heavily shorted. Anything above 20 is pretty heavily shorted. So OCGN is a good candidate for a short squeeze also. But obviously your vaccination play comes into a little bit more over here on this one that could bring it down. But OCGN does have a positive vaccination catalyst. So you're not wrong about it. But overall, I think the vaccination plays are kind of over. I don't really want to say anything. I'll just keep my mouth quiet because I think that statement from Bill Gates today was a little political, but that's where people's mentality is going to. You guys can Google it on your own, see what he said about what it is, and then make up your own mind. And don't put it in the chat because I don't want to go too far out the walls to this one, right? Just Google it. Just Google it. BBBY, unless a new variant comes out, we don't. Oh yeah, unless a new variant comes out, yeah, that's a good point. Bed Bath and Beyond, we already talked about that. Let's see if we could see if are we back through 1480 is the question, and we're not. So we're still waiting to see if support comes in at 1460 or at 1440 to go see if we can break above it one more time today. Absolutely, Miss V. Oh, you're talking to Miss V. Sorry, I don't know why I read that. I'm stupid. Bill Gates is a nerd. That's also true. But it's just the idea. It's just the idea, not about that. Or the psychology. Sorry, not the report. It was just the thought process and the psychology. Now I'm triggered. All right. Google is not your friend. What? OCGN burns. So okay, guys, stickers that you guys want me to pull up. Pfizer, where's Pfizer doing? Pfizer's moving to the north side, maybe 10 million shares today. Nope, downside. We're down 1.6%. Pfizer, we thought Pfizer would become the new king of vaccinations and just dethrone Moderna, and that didn't happen. Pfizer moved above 60 for like a couple days at best. For a couple days at best, we were at 60, and then immediately back in the previous ranges over here. So not sure what Pfizer wants to do, but Pfizer, the Alzheimer's, the shingles thing that Pfizer is creating with BNTX, which is off of Moderna's what's it called? Project or patent or software, whatever it is. Technology. There you go. Thank you. Prad, you should be shorting Wish and Small Direct Club 100%. Wish is probably down on the day. We'll see what Wish is doing. 6.8 million shares. Wow, Wish got destroyed. 10 cents to the downside. Beautiful move on Wish. Obviously, 6 million shares on a $2 stock does not excite me. If I was going to be trading a $2 stock, I'd be taking too much size for me to be able to be comfortably sitting in here. And that's why I don't trade these stocks. These stocks don't excite me. I'd much rather be in NVIDIA and AMD, where I know I could manage my risk very easily. I know there's going to be a lot of liquidity at almost the next penny or two. That's why I don't trade those for lack of better word, garbage stocks. It's just they're garbage. Small Direct Club too. I was bullish about this stock for a while, and that's why it's hard for me to short it. I'm still bullish about this because I think the idea was genius. They were trying to fight dentists because dentists cost so much, but obviously people did not like the idea. They shorted the crap out of it, and Small Direct Club now in the gutter. And I never invested in Small Direct Club, so I guess I don't have to be too upset. But I am upset because I was so bullish about this company, and they just got whacked to the downside. Where are we going to? Affirm short, AFRM. Let's go check on Affirm. Check on your positions, bro. Oh, I am. I have 3 other blotters over here with 15 other charts on another screen. Oh, I'm keeping positions on my eyes on my positions. Don't worry. Sorry? Go to you? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I just started into Affirm short, believe it or not. So I'm not sure who asked the question about Affirm, but anyways, the market started to bounce back up. I don't necessarily think that the market's going to have that pullback. Like I know the other day we were down and recovered it really nicely. This feels a little bit different here. You got both sets of inflation data coming through now that we have the PPI as well. And the reaction was to break some of that support. I know it's not completely broken, but testing lower support on the NASDAQ. I'm not really feeling that it's going to come back. So I'm going to go back to the same well that I usually have. You can kind of see since the flush, breaking and holding this support at like 95, 96 on a firm, it's been only shorts. I'm not really looking to go long in the stock. And again, you can't trade your own book. I still have some shares of a firm, the shop plays that I have, that are high valuation plays that I'm holding on to. They're the types of shares that you're giving it 2 to 5 years, right? Whether it's Lemonade, whether it's Virgin, Firm, Teladoc, like that kind of a thing. So, not going to be digging in too deep, but it gives you this pop, and look right back into this level. This is 76, like 60 to 77. So I'm looking right back into here, going a couple of days ago. The only day I didn't trade it was on the 11th. And that support level also coincides with this little hump that we had on the way down at about 10.15. So it's rolling over in that range. I've already gotten in once. If it retests 77, just because it fell off a cliff when it broke 77 and a quarter, I'd probably be willing to add to this in front of 77. But for now, rolling into the short, this is as much a bet on the not thinking the market's going to turn green today, but because it's in a well, not a high valuation name, but a zero profit name, I feel like even if the market does rebound, at least it's shorting something that is weak, as opposed to you just sticking it in the queues or going into a big tech name that's a little bit better quality. So back to a firm it is for me, and still waiting for TPG to open up.
All right, let's go right back. I'm looking for Microsoft short, but my chart decided to give me a ghost chart. So let's see if we can wait here a couple minutes and get that chart loaded back. In the meantime, I'll just pull up a new one for us. Where's my execution window? Open chart, please. And this chart failed too, so let's close this one. And then pull up that chart too, and refresh Microsoft. So looking for, oh my goodness, now a bunch of my charts just crashed, so give me a second, guys. In the meantime, let's just switch away from Microsoft because I want to short Microsoft. I can't see the chart. Maybe we can see the chart over here in the meantime instead. Where's TradingView, MSFT? Because your NASDAQ has pretty much come off quite a bit right now. Let's go to the 1 day. Let's see where NFM. Oh, I missed my opportunity. I wanted to be near 315. We're at 313 right now. I'm still loading some of these charts on my other screen in the meantime. So bear with me, chat. Here we go. A satellite radio. All get hit with the boom, boom. Awesome. Now all my charts are loaded up. But is Microsoft still ghost charting me? It is. So, oh well, we're moving past this one. PYPL. Pratt, PayPal long to 187 and stop loss at 185. I like the call out. Let's go pull up the stock to see if I like the trade. PayPal. Where we seen this, so PayPal holding up slightly below 186 right now. Are we going to the downside is the question, and I think not yet. Spies are holding above VWAP still, and NQ still above 15,800. So I think if NQ can hold up at 15,800 and get a chance to move to VWAP, then not sure if we're gonna have the move over here for PayPal to go back to the downside, possibly go back to VWAP too. But you said stop at 185. Let me just scroll up over here. Trader Prad, PayPal, where's that question? Oh, I missed it. I'm not sure where it is, but yeah, good luck with the idea. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Trend is your friend. That's true. Trend is your friend indeed. BBIG is ripping. BBIG was ripping previously when we pulled it up. Let's see if it's moving again one more time with the volume candle maybe. Was up 7.8. It's still the same. So, not really ripping, but we're holding up above VWAP. I think market's getting ready to come back to the downside here. And if that's the case, we'll look for some opportunities maybe on AMD turning back around at 136 at the moment, trying to hold up above 136. Look at this high over here at 136.50. So if you are going short, you might have to give it 50 cents room. Obviously, it is a $135 stock, so if you're not giving at least 50 cents to $1 on some of these stocks, then you might just get stopped out. Something that happened to me today a little bit because I didn't give that necessary stop, and you'll see me put it in my notes, and you know where to get that notes. Either follow me on Twitter, join our Discord, or do both of them. Why not both? And you'll see exactly why I got stopped out so many times, even though I was in the money, and I scalped some of these stocks for profit. Let me show you if I pull it up on the 1 minute, maybe. Up on the 1 minute. So see how I took some profits, I got stopped. I took some profits and I got stopped, and I was basically fighting that 280 level, risking not too much off that 280. I wanted my risk management to be like very close to 280. If 280 goes back through to the upside, I'm gonna get out and maybe lose 10 cents, 20 cents on that back move. But if 280 goes back through, I'm gonna get back in, and I just kept rinsing and repeating, trying to do something fancy. I was trying to apply a different strategy to here, which did not make sense later on in the day. And I was like, okay, Pride, what are you doing? Just stop. Just stop. You're gonna FOMO yourself into something stupid. Just take the money you've already made on Nvidia and just walk away from it. The only down stock for me today is a buyout stock, which is actually breaking the tops over there. So it is what it is. So Nvidia, we try to make a big trade out of it. We could have gotten a $10 move short, and you'll see it in the notes. So go follow me on Twitter and join our Discord. Do ~ Discord to get the link if you aren't already in there. Be active. Let's all hang out, talk equities, talk options, talk futures. You know, lot of room in there to grow. And just speaking on that journal aspect, I asked people if they wanted to join me on the journals to post their trades, and people have been. See, like people post their winning trades, their losing trades, and they post the comments too. But here's something that I actually loved. Didn't read this guy's comments yet and his trades, but looks like he's gonna start joining me, journaling his trades, because his trading partner that he used to do it with, he doesn't have his trading partner anymore to do it with. So gladly gonna be joining this guy on that aspect. If anyone else wants to join up, post your trades, post your reviews, and then we'll review your trades and probably help each other grow that way. Peer review session in the better words. So going to SPYs. Let's go to SPY on Amex. SPY currently coming off of below VWAP. Looks like the market weakness is actually playing off that we were looking for. What just happened? Did I just hit a target on one of my stocks maybe? Oh yeah, awesome. Beautiful. So SPY's coming off to the downside right now. Let's see if QQQ is coming off, and the answer is obviously yes. It's not like I don't know it. I can see it on my other screen. We just cracked 1580 on the NASDAQ futures to the downside, so looking for PayPal, probably cracked the lower side. PayPal trying to go back to the downside. AMD probably already flushing way below 136. Actually, no, we're just slightly below 136, so not way below 136. And okay, Mime wants to fill me. Awesome. And Nvidia, is Nvidia back to 270 already? Not really. We're slightly above 270, but I think we're gonna get there if market really flushes. So we'll keep an eye on that one also. JetBlue ready to test 1550. JBlueZoo. All right, come here, JBlue. Almost up 5.5% with 4 million shares traded. Beautiful move to the upside indeed. Holding VWAP once off the open. Looks like, is that off the open? Indeed, it is off the open. And ripping all the way through $15. It tried to test $15 really quick, and then it just bounced off of that. Now we're up 50 cents off of that $15 level. Obviously, we're trying to see how far can we go on the stock today. JetBlue, can I see any resistances on the upside? 1 year maybe. 1 year we see resistance already at the resistance level right now, actually 1550, but we could go a little bit higher than 1550 and turn around at 1584, 1585 instead. So keep an eye on 1550 to see for a possible rejection